You're in the middle of a live. What's up? Real quick.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
You
what's
are?
up?
I ordered you a rotisserie chicken and fried rice.
All right. Bye.
But
Okay, let's see here. All right, let's see here. What the hell? Okay. What? Oh no! Come on now. Okay. Let me know if you guys. Oh, you got out. You got audio already. Easy. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. So let me get this last piece done, and we should be up and running momentarily. So give me about a minute. It's a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but thank you, Easy, for giving me that audio check. By the way, I'm just gonna go ahead and straight hashtag this so I can get the show going quicker than usual. There we go. And what does it say? Hello, good evening, Casey Fox, the man with the cause, the man with hope in his heart. Yes, we do have some of that. What does it say? The man who reaches for the change, ladies and gentlemen, your friend and mine, handsome liberal, handsome conservative. I appreciate that. You're quick on the draw. Thank you very much, setting us off right. I'm getting the last platform up, and we should be up and running in less than a minute. So we're gonna have an easy show today. We're gonna have an easy show today, but it's still going to be one that's going to lead to a hell of a lot of unanswered questions and things that we need to talk about because I don't get this. So just one single topic, which is what you see on the screen behind me. I'll go ahead and start up all of the platforms. And having said that, we are now currently live, Substack, Instagram, TikTok, Clapper, and YouTube. Question being, what are the goals of the Trump administration? I mean, I don't get it with so many things that have been said by President Trump that have turned out to be the opposite of what he's intended to do, or in many cases, just turned out not to happen entirely. So we are going to be asking, what are the goals of the Trump administration? And I don't know why I'm really buffering or moving with incrementally on Clapper like that. Clapper really looks weird. But we're going to continue with the show. And I do want you to, I'm going to give you a little bit of audio so you can understand what we're talking about, because as the screen says, what is the goal? I personally have gotten to the point where I'm not confident of what the goal of the Trump administration is anymore. I don't really know what the goal is, because what he promised and what he is doing are like night and day. What President Trump promised and what he is actually doing are like night and day. So I'm going to be asking you folks, what is the actual goal of the Trump administration? And real quick on TikTok, I got to reset something. Hang on a second. Give me a second here, because I just realized I didn't put in any of the stated goals or anything for the live. So I will make sure I put that in there. I'll look at a few comments while I'm resetting TikTok. No, it's already in there, is it not? Okay. So Ron takes two more, Mary. I want to get that out. I'll just put in here, what are the goals? I had to reset TikTok, so I apologize for the brief delay, but there we go. All right, so looking in the comments real quick, Trump says one thing and does another, says Casey Fox. That's the point we're making. What are the goals of the Trump administration? If he is constantly saying one thing and doing another and not meeting his campaign promises, I'm trying to figure out, how do we know what the goals are anymore? I mean, what is he intending on doing? Because, we talked about no more forever wars, and now Trump has talked about attacking a host of countries. So what are the goals? What does he intend to do in terms of leading this great nation? We're going to run with that as a single topic today because I do not understand. I'll give you some brief examples of what I'm talking about here.
I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years of the history of our country. Starting on day 1, we will end inflation and make America affordable again.
Look, Social Security won't be touched, other than this fraud or something we're going to find. It's going to be strengthened, but won't be touched. Medicare, Medicaid, none of that stuff is going to be touched.
Nothing.
I want to have to.
Fifth pillar of my plan is to make the Trump tax cuts permanent. They are massive tax cuts, biggest ever, permanent, and to cut taxes even more.
A vote for Trump means your groceries will be cheaper. So many people mention, I go in, so many people mention groceries, that beautiful but simple word, groceries. Sir, my groceries. You don't think of it that way, but that's what they mention more than anything, my groceries.
Sir, you said during the campaign you had concepts of a plan. Do you have an actual plan at this point for health care?
Yes, we have concepts of a plan that would be better.
Still just concepts? Do you have a fully developed plan?
Let me explain. We have the biggest healthcare companies looking at it. We have doctors. We're always looking because Obamacare stinks. It's lousy. There are better answers. If we come up with a better answer, I would present that answer to Democrats and to everybody else, and I do something about it. But until we have
Now,
that...
he's been in office almost 2 years. I haven't even heard Trump talking about health care at all. You don't even hear him talking about this. So this is him saying he had concepts of a plan. You don't hear Trump, you don't hear them discussing health care one bit. So I don't quite understand what that even means at this point. But continuing on.
Or until they can approve it, but we're not going to go through the big deal.
And now I am going further. We will bring our automaking industry to the record levels of 37 years ago. And we'll be able to do it very quickly through tariffs and other smart use of certain things that we have that other countries don't. My plan will cut energy prices in half or more than that within 12 months of taking office. It will be an economic revival of our country like no one has ever seen before. Energy was what caused our problem initially. Energy is going to bring us back. That means we're going down and getting gasoline below $2 a gallon, bring down the price of everything from electricity.
So I'll stop it here, but I could keep going on and on and on. So I'm asking a question today, simple question, one topic show. What are the goals of the Trump administration? What exactly is he trying to do for this great nation? Because I could play you probably another half hour of this, and it's a ton of campaign promises by President Trump that not only has he not delivered, it don't even seem like he's trying to do this stuff. I mean, a lot of these campaign promises feature things he's not even talking about anymore. So I'm really curious, what is the goal? What is the purpose of what he is doing in office? Now, in addition to this, this is what's going on today, which is to me, nothing short of insane. And I'm going to need you folks on TikTok to make sure you tap that screen, get the likes on up before we take our first call. And if you're watching us on YouTube, certainly do your boy a solid. Give me a sub, smash that like button, if you will. Check this one out, because this one here is what they're talking about today.
Estimated at one point that the cost of the war in Iran was $29 billion, but then added a caveat that there was a replacement of munitions, for example. Do you have a new estimate about what the war has cost us so far in the 5th month of the first year of this war in Iran?
Senator, the estimate we have as of today is $37.5 billion.
And is the current activity, which we've been told about, the exchange of fire back and forth in Iran, an indication that that number is going to go up in the months ahead?
Some of that number captures additional O&M, mill pay, and other that would be anticipated through the fiscal year. So some of that anticipates what costs would be going out in the future as well.
So the new number you've given me is what?
$37.5 billion.
And that represents the cost of the war through what period of time?
through now for certain aspects of it, but also mill pay, O&M, other anticipated costs through September 30th, Senator.
So we're 37.5 billion in right now, and I'll leave it up to you to decide whether or not you believe that number is 100% accurate. But that's Pete Hegseth admitting we've already spent 37.5 billion on the war in Iran. Now, keep in mind, just like with any war, injuries and PTSD claims and things like that are going to drag that cost on, because there's going to be folks that are going to need assistance from the government and stuff like that, because everybody's not going to come home whole. Everybody's not coming home whole. We've lost 18 service personnel so far, but hundreds have been injured. They're admitting that hundreds have been injured. Now, an injury could really vary and be anything. But if they're telling you hundreds have been injured, I mean, some of that's probably going to include permanent injuries, limbs lost, and things like that. Some of that's going to include permanent injuries. So that 37.5 billion is probably a conservative estimate. My guess is it's certainly going to be more than that. And with us on our 9th or 10th straight night of bombing Iran, with no ending in sight, that number is going up by millions of dollars every night. By millions, I mean, you could have one or two explosions that cost $1 million. I think the Tomahawks alone, just one Tomahawk, I believe, is $500,000. Just one of those things. So you could, every time you see something go boom and Trump is boasting about that, or they're posting it on whitehouse.gov, you may be literally watching a fireworks show, one explosion that cost anywhere from $250,000 on up. So yeah, certainly that 37.5 million is likely to increase. So simple question today: what is the actual goal of the Trump administration? Because there's just so many things that he continues saying that either has not come true, or they're now doing something that is totally opposite of what they promised, such as one of the campaign promises was no new wars. Obviously, they're doing just the opposite of that, with him saying that Cuba is next and boasting about going to war with Venezuela and threatening to take Greenland and all of this stuff. So he clearly is not attempting to maintain the stance of no new wars, which is exactly what he campaigned on and promised. So I don't know what the goal is, and I want to hear from you folks. Hopefully we can hear some from some of my beloved MAGA. We do want to hear from that side of the aisle, because without MAGA, there is no President Trump. So I do want to hear from some of the MAGA side, because there's a lot of MAGA, make no mistake about it. There's a lot of MAGA that believes Trump is the GOAT, greatest of all time. And I want to hear from that. I want folks on the supportive side of Trump come on the program and tell us what you believe the goal is. If you think he's doing a great job, let us know what you think the goal actually is, because as I just stated, there's been so many changes from campaign promises to what you're actually seeing now. So we'll go into that. And I see in the comments, Arnita says, greatest fuck up. Well, we'll talk about it. So tap the screen as always. You guys know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor anybody. Our comments go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having a dinner with Q. You can be critical of anybody on the program, including yours truly. And as I just stated, we are MAGA friendly. Always have been, always shall remain that way. So looking in the comments, all the critical thinkers have left MAGA, says Coach Vic. Yikes. I think he is doing what he thinks is necessary. That can't make sense totally. And thank you, Blue One Banks, starting the program off right with the hat mustaches. Appreciate that. Thank you. Well, when you say he's doing what you think he's doing, what he thinks is necessary. Well, he campaigned on no new wars. I mean, what he has stated for the reason of threatening to take Greenland hasn't changed since Trump was campaigning versus now. Neither has Cuba. Neither had Venezuela. He didn't campaign on going to those countries. So what changed? What made him all of a sudden now do that versus what he was doing when he campaigned? Kel Brew, thank you for the TikTok cap. Appreciate that. So look at in the comments, new currency, not Bitcoin. Yeah. When Trump campaigned that, Trump was campaigning that crypto was kind of like a fraud. He was not big on crypto until he started having his hands on some crypto. I think the fraudsters are bankrupt in America, not Trump. Who are the fraudsters, though, Mr. Cajun? I'd be curious to know who are the fraudsters. Are they trying to stop the world from dropping the U.S. dollar and sell the American oil? I don't think we were at risk of the world dropping the U.S. dollar had we elected Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, who else ran? Tim Scott. I don't think we're at risk of that stuff. I think we're at risk of this stuff now because of the way Trump is governing. He's giving countries incentive. He's incentivizing countries to do that. So that could be something, but that would be something unique to having elected Trump, because I don't think any of the Kamala Harris, the Joe Biden, the Ron DeSantis, the Nikki Haley's, the Tim Scott, I don't think any of them would have went against our allies the way Trump is doing. None of them would have imposed Liberation Day tariffs. In fact, Trump just increased the tariffs on Canada by 50%. What was it, yesterday or day before? So that's something unique to Trump. Do you hate him because he is white? Wow. Who asked that question? I got to put on my spectacles. Chris. No, listen, Trump said I hate all Democrats. Does he hate me because I'm black? No, I don't think, listen, the Democrats just voted for a white man last go round. So I don't think Trump's skin color has anything to do with it. I think it's more or less Trump's policies or the way Trump governs or some of the things Trump says. Keep in mind, a lot of Democrats are favoring Gavin Newsom. He's a white guy. So no, it has nothing. There's a whole lot. In fact, chances are the next leader of the Democrat Party will be another white person. So race doesn't have anything to do with why folks are critical of President Trump, because there's probably most of the people in this country that do not like Trump are white. The white liberal side of the aisle. They're mostly white, and some white Hispanics. Remember, Trump smashed ISIS. Democrats gave them air support for 8 years. ISIS still exists. So what do you mean Trump smashed ISIS? Trump says he smashed Iran. They're still existing too. So what do you mean by he smashed ISIS? ISIS is still in existence. The fraud that was found in Minnesota, Ohio, etc., if people really look into it, it's probably happening in every state. Billions and billions of dollars add up. True. I don't disagree with that. Certainly in Minnesota with the Somali population. But what I don't like is we're only targeting fraud from the likes of the Somali population and detractors of President Trump. Keep in mind, Trump has literally pardoned some really big time fraudsters himself. So the idea that under Trump we're getting rid of fraud while he is simultaneously pardoning fraudsters doesn't quite add up. That doesn't make sense. If Trump is against fraud, then there's no way he would pardon huge crypto fraudsters like the Binance guy. So I don't know if that totally makes sense. Obama for the rest of your natural life. I don't know what that means. Let me go back. Let me go to the box. That's a lie. Trying to get the fraud in California also, but they keep passing laws to hide it. But that's the point I'm trying to make is, are you for fraud, or are you for fraud connected only to liberals? Let me know in the comments. Is that what we're doing? Is that we are really concerned when it's fraudsters that are leaning left or are critical of Trump, but if they favor Trump, not so much? Let me know. Because if you notice, all of the fraud that the right is talking about and celebrating, it's all liberal stuff. As if the right has no one committing fraud in it at all. Help me make it make sense, because it does seem like the pursuit of fraud is somewhat biased. So help me out. Tamar, New Jersey's best. Good evening, Tamar. Welcome to the program. That's not true. Americans in California, Chinese in Oklahoma, they only show Somali fraud because it fits the left agenda. Yeah, it's absolutely being done to curtail an agenda. I agree with that 100%. It's just like talking about crime in liberal areas, and you don't hear any mention of crime in conservative areas. It's targeting stuff solely based on political party. You will hear oftentimes how poorly ran California is. San Francisco, Los Angeles, other various cities throughout California, the high taxation, the high crime, homelessness. And then, of course, it'll be tied to the governor, that being Gavin Newsom. You don't hear anything about high crime in Republican states being tied to Republican governors. Once you go into Republican state, the argument becomes, well, that's a liberal city, though. St. Louis is a liberal city. Yeah, but the governor of that state, does he not get any type of responsibility for crime in his cities? No, he's Republican. Well, then why are you holding Gavin Newsom accountable? So you got to look at how some of this stuff is being done. And also keep in mind, when governors run for election, they all actually campaign on reducing crime in their states. So it doesn't matter if it's a red or blue governor. That governor campaigned on reducing crime. If you have a high crime city in your state, as governor, you're responsible. That's in your state. I don't know why we only blame the Democrat governors and somehow exclude the Republican governors. What are the goals of the Trump administration? That's what I'm asking. Obama was a fascist. We were forced into Obamacare or pay a fine. Obama sold guns to cartel and vice versa. Fast and Furious. I remember Fast and Furious. That was probably one of the biggest scandals under Obama. Cash for Clunkers was a joke. Felony, what does that say? Is felony, Fannie something, my screwed home buyers. Oh, you mean Fannie Mae, Fannie Mae. Those were some of the perceived scandals under President Obama. I don't know if anything you just stated would make Obama become a fascist, though. You're giving me some of the scandals under Obama, but where's the fascism part coming in at? Sold guns to cartel? I mean, didn't Oliver North under Ronald Reagan sell guns in Iran? Does that mean Ronald Reagan was a fascist too? We can go in a lot of different directions with that one. I don't know where fascism is coming in with Obama. It's not Obamacare. It came from Mitt Romney. That's true, but Obama ran it for the country. Are we at 10,000? We'll try it again. Tried to bring up tomorrow. We'll go to Stick the Ruler. Good evening, Stick. Welcome to the program. Asking a simple question. What is the goal of the Trump administration? And it doesn't look like it's bringing up Stick as well. Are we having trouble bringing up guests? We'll give it a minute to reset. That is because they cover each other's backs so they don't get caught. There's a lot of that, handsome one. The fraudsters are the Congress and Senate and presidency ripping off the American people. I agree with that. 100% agree with that, handsome conservative, that our politicians are probably the biggest fraudsters. And listen, President Trump promised to drain the swamp and get rid of all of that shit, expose that. I don't think there's anybody that believes he's successfully done that, making $2.2 billion in a single year himself. Stick, good evening.
Hey, what's going on, Tim?
Not much at all. Simple topic today. What is the goal of the Trump administration?
Man, the goal of the Trump administration is what it is. I mean, high prices, making sure everybody else makes some money, especially, other countries.
You think that why would the goal be higher prices? Why would that doesn't make sense?
Because that makes everybody else, his donors and all of them people more money. That's the goal, to make everybody more money.
Well, it's not everybody. You mean associates of him?
Yeah, his friends, his donors, the people that bought into his crypto. And I ain't talking about the ones that just gave like 20,000 and 10,000 and all that.
You're not talking about Lil Boosie. You're not talking about Lil Boosie.
No, 600,000 wasn't enough. He should have known better. He ain't gonna take no shorts. He might have asked him for 1.2 million. No. See, anyway, that's a whole nother situation. However,
Lil Boosie lost 600 fucking stacks. That's crazy. And I'm a big Boosie fan.
Crazy.
I'm a Boosie fan, but he ain't gonna be INDEPENT anymore. He keep paying out money like that.
All I know is something's coming, and whether it's good or bad, whether it be he get a pardon or whether it be they just going to be like, okay, yeah, you talking too much. You know what I'm saying? So
that won't be good. Shit,
yeah,
if they say you talking too much.
I said whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
I said something's coming. That's all I'm saying. Something's coming, and that exposed a lot.
Just get that man his 600. Look, they are awash in cash. Get that man his money back so he'll shut the fuck up. That's all they got to do. Get that man his money back and convince him that this whole thing never happened and he simply took it out of context.
That ain't Trump, and you know that ain't Trump.
Listen. Trump made hold on. Trump made $2.2 billion in a single year. It ain't Trump. I agree with you, but it's hurting Trump. So either Trump or friends of the program find a way to hand Boosie his money back, even if the folks who took it don't give it back. You get to him, give him his money back, and convince him that he read that shit and took it out of context. And he decided he wants to apologize. Get him to back off of that.
So have you heard any MAGA tell you exactly what you just said?
No.
Well, then it ain't hurting. If you ain't heard not one MAGA come in there and say, yeah, man, I don't like that shit that's going on with Lil Boosie, then guess what? They don't care.
Yeah, but just Congress is going to know.
$50,000, the Tom Homan $50,000, they didn't care about that either.
Yeah. So are we going to see Lil Boosie testify before a Democrat Congress if they win the midterms?
Man, I'm going to say it like, I don't know what's up with Mitch McConnell. I ain't gonna know what's up with Boosie. That's all I'll say. It's one of the two coming. So he's not no dignitary. He's not. He's a rapper
with a serious criminal history.
With a serious criminal history, still living in the state that he's from. So even if he moved,
I thought he left Louisiana. I thought he left Louisiana.
I don't know if he left Louisiana or not. If he has anywhere he went somewhere black. He went to Atlanta or something.
Yeah, that's
like
where he's
that.
at. That's where Miami. He's in the ATL. He's in the ATL.
So again, he's around other black folks and they can look like it. They want to make it look.
Ooh.
That's all I say about that.
I get where you're going with that. And that don't sound good. So Boosie based on what you're saying, Boosie need to shut the fuck up.
Man, Boosie should have just took that loss. That's what I'll say. Cause he's not a we're gonna investigate type shit type dude. They're gonna make it look like black on black crime, as they like to say, which ain't no fucking such a thing. And then they're gonna say, he had a lot of enemies just as well as he was in prison and that. It's gonna be a whole bunch of other stuff if that was to happen, which I hope it don't. But yes, he needs to shut the fuck up. Because
if the Democrats win the midterms, somebody that's out there like Boosie claiming that Trump is selling pardons, they're going to absolutely ask him if he want to testify. I mean, or better yet, subpoena him and make him testify. It ain't like he would be against it. So they would bring. I mean, look, he's easy to dirty up because he got a pretty serious criminal history. I believe he was on death row for a while. So he's easy to dirty up, but I think a lot of us believe, despite his criminal history, he's probably telling the truth.
Right. The thing of it is, we know he's telling the truth. I mean, we actually know that he's telling the truth. And the sad part is, again, Trump is not an investigation or his DOJ, which is his DOJ. They're not the investigating type. They're not the type. If he says turn a blind eye or close that case or something like that, E-Files, what else? The Minnesota man and woman that got unalived by ICE, just shutting down investigations. They're not going to investigate nothing. They're not going to try to investigate nothing.
Well, in the comments, Pimp named Furback said there are 9. He says there are 9 other people suing. Is there 9 other folks claiming that Trump lied or they thought they were purchasing pardons from Trump as well? 9 other people. And by the way, the likes of Lil Wayne and what is the other guy? A couple other rappers, huh? Kodak Black, yeah. They should be called to testify as well.
I mean, they should. However, Common Man, like, I just really don't. From the comments that Lil Wayne done made, I don't see him going in there testifying against nobody.
No, I wouldn't if I was in a situation either.
Yeah, he's, the officer. He said the black officer stepped over him and went in his pockets, and the white officer came in and told him, "What are y'all doing? Get an ambulance." So again, like, he feel like it ain't no racism. So yeah, Lil Wayne, no.
But the thing about it is, though,
Kodak, he definitely ain't. I don't even know if his testimony could even be considered to be
credible.
He was sober. Like, he don't know. He probably got people handling his money for him. So yeah, I don't know. So no, I wouldn't even. Yeah.
So yeah, the idea that a president would actually be selling pardons, though, is that something unique to Trump? Because I'm going to get some of my beloved MAGA on here soon. I'm looking to talk to some MAGA. The first thing they're going to say is, all of them do this.
How about this? He's the only out loud one. Everybody else, if they've done it so secretive. But I mean, when you are out loud with it, you're telling everybody, hey, I got 17 of the Mexican cartel's family snuck in by the FBI. Out loud.
Well, you can't prove that Trump is selling pardons, though. What do you mean out loud? There's no proof of that. Trump ain't on the phone. You don't have him on tape.
No. It is proof of that. They did an article that he took 17 cartel family members and brought them in, used the FBI to do it, to bring them to the U.S.
Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember that. Now that you're mentioning that, I do remember that.
Thank you. Yeah, so he doing it out loud. He telling everybody, this is what I did. I took 17 other cartel members and brought them over to the U.S. Guess what? At the same time, you know what he was saying? Give me $5 million. I will give you a gold card, and I will expedite your visa / your citizenship. You don't think the cartel got $5 million for each 17? That's what, like $85 million? You don't think a cartel member got that for his family?
Yeah, of course they got it. I mean, the thing about
so they amongst us with a different name, still rich, and Trump got that $85 million. Thank you very much.
Does he ever face account? If what you're saying is true, and I'm gonna assume a lot of folks believe it is, or at least some of it in part, what are the chances that he'll face any kind of accountability for this stuff?
Hey, well, if it's left up to white folks, they're gonna do what they.
Come on, it got nothing to do with color, does it? Skin color?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. If it's left up to white folks in the sense that J.D. Vance become the president, he gonna do what happened.
What if Kamala Harris had became president, or Westmore? Would they go after Trump and punish him?
You talking about the next president?
You said white folks. So let's say the next president is an African American, or Marco Rubio. Rubio is not white. Marco Rubio is Hispanic.
I trust the GA and the prosecutor. I trust the GA and the prosecutor. I believe the GA and the prosecutor would go straight at his throat. And I mean, he at the end of his rope. So I hope if you want me to be painless, God can just handle business, and that'll be the end of that. He
God.
No type of actually he'll face the president of God.
I'm not no super religious guy, but I has shown us God will let really bad people live very nicely for a long time. If you're dependent on God to punish people, that may never happen. I mean, there are people who live a very lengthy life that have done some really bad shit now they may face punishment eternally, but on earth.
That's my point. And guess what? Knowing what I know, being a preacher's kid, knowing what I know about the rich man. It's better off taking a camel and sticking it through the eye of a needle. That's his chances of getting into heaven. He considers himself to be a rich man. So that alone right there lets me know he ain't going where I'm going. I tell you
Let me ask you this,
However-
then. Well, let me ask you this. Some of the reasons we elected Trump, one being to improve Biden's economy, make things more affordable. Are we going to get that from Trump? Obviously, we're not there yet. Because we're talking about the goals. What are the goals of Trump? Are we going to get a better economy out of him than Biden?
No, they already showed us that he's not. He's never had a better economy, and he's not going to have one because we're going to have this little never-ending war again with Iran this time instead of Iraq or Afghanistan. It's Iran. So guess what? We over there. Ain't nothing we can do about it at this point. I think he was supposed to been gone. However, now they're thinking about giving him funding to stay over there. So again, never ending. Give me your money. We ain't got nothing for you as far as healthcare. We ain't got nothing for you as far as getting the prices down. We ain't got nothing for you, but we do need this military so we can keep fucking with these people.
What about gas prices? Will we see the $2 or something a gallon he talked about during the State of the Union address?
The straits, if 20% of the world's oil is shut down, if these old ass ships that Russia and everybody else got can't keep up, like what are we talking about? That 20%, no matter how we slice it, affects the world economy and affects the world oil economy. So that shit is what it is.
Let me give you the
just expect $4 from here on out.
$4.
They gonna level it. They gonna level it. Listen, they're gonna stabilize at $4. Watch what I tell you.
Let me give you
They're
the
gonna stop there, and we're gonna be riding out on $4 for a while till we get used to it, and then it's just gonna be $4.
so $4 gas is gonna be the new normal.
Yeah, that's gonna be the new norm. Just like $2.55 was the new norm, and then $3.55 was the new. Now $4 is gonna be the new. That's it.
Let me give you the Trump derangement syndrome test to verify. Make sure you don't have Trump derangement syndrome, which is what my MAGA side of the aisle is going to accuse you of having. Tell me something good Trump has done for this great nation. Has he done anything good at all?
Well, let's see. USA just lost in the goddamn because he was there.
The World Cup stick? Really? The World Cup?
The Knicks fucked up a sweep because he was there.
You blaming him for a Knicks game?
The Chiefs, they lost because his ass was rooting for him.
That's interesting. And he does. The teams do seem to lose when he is attendance.
He invited Derek Lewis to the UFC at the White House because that's supposedly his. He fucking got knocked out. So yeah, nah.
You can't come up with one thing that President Trump is doing. I'm trying to make sure you don't have Trump derangement syndrome. You can't give me one thing that Trump has done good.
Tim, okay, so is it deranged if it actually happened?
It's deranged if you don't see that Trump has done some good things for this country. That's derangement.
I'll say this. He has done some good things for the people that he wants to do good things for. And only those people, and everybody else just kiss my ass because I don't care anymore. I got what I want, which was the presidency. I escaped jail by being the president. So guess what? Y'all that don't make at least 50 or 100 million or more can kiss my ass.
How about this one? I got one for you that you cannot knock down. Handsome conservative says, I can give you one thing Trump has done well. He beat Kamala Harris. How about that?
He didn't do it well.
What do you mean?
She was a candidate. She was a candidate supposedly that nobody liked with 100 days, and he only got 77 million, and she got 75.
Well, maybe
think about that.
Maybe the Democrats cheated. Maybe the Democrats cheated. You never know.
No, she lost. Yeah. What would be the point of cheating if she lost?
Well,
that's dumb. And then on top of that, every fucking time Trump lost, he was the fucking president.
Yeah. Well, Trump said that 2024 was going to be too big to rig, so maybe she would have lost by more. Maybe the Democrats tried to rig it, but there was so much love for Trump in 2024. He still won just only by 7,000 votes due to the cheating.
Hey, I'm gonna just say it like this, Tim. He fucking lost in 2020. He lost horribly. That's number one. Number two, what the fuck are we got to cheat for? His attitude had even the motherfucker like, yeah, we good on this dude. Like, no, not this round. Joe's white. Let's just vote for Joe. Let's just vote for fucking Joe. He's white. I'm cool.
You really think all this is just racially related?
So Joe jumping into the race was saving America. He was retired. He had been vice president for 8 years. He really didn't have to do this shit. And then what we know now is he probably was already sick. Joe jumped off the motherfucking medical bed and said, let me say this shit from this motherfucker because he ain't nothing. I want to take him behind the school. Remember he told him, take him behind the schoolhouse?
Take him behind the bleachers. Yes, I do remember that.
And then in the debate, he said, will you just shut up, man? And he shut up.
Won't you shut up? Yeah, I do remember that.
So again, now Joe is strong. We don't know Joe is sick, but at that moment, Joe was strong. And guess what? That's all they needed to see. He already had the backdrop that he was supposed to be president. That's check number one. You got to make sure that we got at least a little bit of presidency in there, right? So all of that, you know, Joe was president, and Joe said some things that was, you know, whatever. That helped him with the white tea community. That's what nobody understands. If they got a little, he might be a little president. He wouldn't be a bad candidate. See what I'm saying?
It can't always be about race. I gotta move it on, but it can't always be about race, can it?
Listen, if the Democrats want to win, I'm sorry to say, you gotta just pick the right candidate for this time because they are acting like they're in the 60s. It's gotta be a Christian white tea male right now with a family, nuclear family, right? Gavin Newsom, your best. And then Miss Harris, go jump back in there at the second helm, or either Jasmine Crockett.
Oh my God! No.
Another black woman.
Jasmine Crockett is not ready for a national ticket.
And then the next election, then we'll have a woman.
You put Jasmine Crockett anywhere near the presidential ticket, and you might as well just go and hand to the Republican Party. I gotta move it on though. But not Kamala Harris. Look, I don't support either one of them running. But if you're gonna put either one of them as a VP candidate, it needs to be somebody more. Kamala Harris is a little bit more polished than Jasmine Crockett. It ain't happening with Jasmine Crockett.
Listen,
it ain't happening.
Listen. Just like with Joe, all they care about is a white tea man in the front. They gonna say if they wanna bat somebody, they gonna say the same thing they said about Miss Harris. Oh, she didn't do nothing. Which none of the vice presidents do any goddamn thing. That's it. They're the president over Congress. That's about it.
I don't see it. I think you're making a mistake even thinking about Jasmine. I gotta go, Stick, but I think that's a mistake. Appreciate it.
Either one will work. All right.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you. Tap the screen, get the lights on up to 30,000. Jasmine Crockett, a ticket for the president with Jasmine Crockett in there. Wow. As VP, I think that would be a disaster, in my humble opinion. For the simple fact that somebody asked me, what's your problem? Who was that? I think that was Kareem the Dream says, what experience does she have to be, Alter Ego, you're saying what experience does she has to be president? I think that she has law experience. It is obviously she's a congresswoman. So I believe if Marjorie Taylor Greene, when she was still viewed as MAGA and favorable to MAGA, they wouldn't have said what experiences Marjorie Taylor Greene has to run for president. I'm sure plenty of MAGA 6 months ago would have been like, she could, we wouldn't be opposed to it. She don't have a lot of experience, but I don't think Jasmine Crockett's issue is experience. I think, to me, Jasmine Crockett would be more of what Trump is, with a smaller audience backing her. When I say more of what Trump is, I mean divisive attack rhetoric. I think Trump has done that to a huge, insane degree. I believe that Jasmine Crockett is capable of that. But America, and this is where my last caller Stick was bringing up racial stuff. I don't believe America would accept that coming from a black woman the way they accept it coming from Trump. And I'm talking about even a lot of Democrat voters would not accept that or view that the same way. Listen, Trump attacked, calling reporters piggy and all this shit. In fact, he just did it again today. He attacked another female reporter. The right side of the aisle loves Trump for doing that. The left side of the aisle is just like, that's just him. He's a fucking chauvinist or whatever they want to call him. He's a pig or he's a sexist. But for the most part, they accept that coming from Trump. They're not going to accept that coming from Kamala Harris. I don't even think the Democrat Party would accept that type of rhetoric. That not Kamala Harris, Jasmine Crockett. And Jasmine Crockett is capable of throwing bombs. You guys saw me with, I don't have it over here by me right now, but you saw me with my, bad built, bleach blonde body. I have the shirt from sending money to her campaign. And I had it on a few lives back. That language is not going to win for Jasmine Crockett. It'll work for Trump. It ain't going to win for Jasmine Crockett. Most Democrats don't want a version of Trump in the White House on their side. They don't want all that shit. So I think Jasmine Crockett would be bad for that reason. Not to suggest she doesn't have some qualifications. I just think the attack rhetoric would be bad. Crockett, big Israel support, says Jay said. Really? Jasmine Crockett? I haven't heard Jasmine Crockett being accused of being the biggest supporter of Israel. That's the first I've heard of that. I haven't heard anything being mentioned about her. What you're talking about now is why blacks can't be racist, says Pobo. No, and I vehemently disagree with the whole notion that blacks cannot be racist. Yes, you can. You can control systems. You can do. Look, at the end of the day, and I'll go to the next caller. Tap the screen, get us up to 30,000. As far as I'm concerned, if something that happened to an African American, that leads the African American community to say that was racist when it happened to a black person, if that happens to a white person, my honest opinion is I don't give a shit what you call it. If the results are still the same, then the results are still the same. I mean, you're a black guy, you go into a white neighborhood and they beat the shit out of you for being in the wrong neighborhood. You're a white guy, you go into a black neighborhood and the same damn thing happens to you. We're going to say when the black guy got his ass kicked, it was racism. When the white guy got his ass kicked, it was bigotry or prayer. It doesn't matter. They both got their ass kicked. You can call it whatever. You can label it whatever the hell you want to label it. The results are still the same. So to me, that just sounds like the African-American community is playing word games to put themselves in a position of less accountability. If the victim experienced the same outcome, to me, it should be labeled the same damn thing. It doesn't change because the person is white if they're experiencing the same outcome. You're the only black man I know with that attitude, says Brewster. Well, I'm sure there are more, but thank you for tuning in. You're something else. She is countering his bullshit. You're too soft. Brewster, I'm telling you, the Democrat Party does not want Trump. They do not want a Democrat in there that is attacking Fox News reporters. And just think of some of the attacks that Trump has. There is a large portion of the Democrat Party that does not want that. If you want to suggest that means I'm too soft, so be it. I'll wear that label. There are Democrats that are soft. All Democrats do not want the division. We've gotten the division out of President Trump. Are we really in a good place? Because you got the Democrat Party hating Trump. Trump is publicly stating he hates the Democrat Party. You got MAGA saying the Democrats have Trump derangement syndrome. You got the Democrats hating MAGA. Is this getting us anywhere where everybody is hating each other? I don't favor putting in a candidate that comes after Trump, literally taking us further down that road. It's not helping us. Let's go with the whole notion that Biden had a weaponized DOJ. This is what my beloved MAGA often says, is that Biden had a weaponized DOJ and he went after Trump constantly. They were trying to impeach the guy, trying to prevent the guy from winning, trying to do everything they could to ruin his life. So we get Trump in there, and Trump weaponizes the DOJ to do the same thing, but to a far more extreme effect, where now he's not just going at the one person, he's going at the colleges and TV stations and politics. That's not an improvement. That's exactly what MAGA complained about, just doing it to the other side. There's no improvement to that whatsoever. So no, I don't want a liberal to come in there and do exactly what the liberals are complaining about that Trump is doing. I don't see that as a benefit. Looking in the comments here, he was impeached twice. True, Ms. Ombetta. Do you see the change in any time? Do you see a change anytime soon? Depends on who you elect. Depends on who you elect. In fact, I'll tell you this. Yes, I do. I don't think there's any candidate that you could elect on the left or the right that will be as divisive as Trump. I don't believe Rubio. I don't believe Vance. And thank you for that alter ego. Appreciate that. I don't believe Rubio, Vance, or any of the liberals running for office would be as divisive as President Trump. So it will improve somewhat. I don't see Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer. I'm just giving you folks who may run. Westmore. None of them are as divisive. I don't see them folks attacking media and going at the TV stations and shit. And I don't see Rubio doing it either. So it depends on who you put up. Going back to the box, we'll make it happen with Capone. Capone and Noriega. Well, did he come up or did he drop? No, he dropped. We'll try it again. In the comments and tap the screen, get us up to 30,000. Happy boy with the hat, mustache, tick-tock, cap, goals, if you will. Did I end up missing something here? Jasmine Crockett. Oh, I saw that big Israel supporter. I haven't heard that. Dems love Allah, right, Payne? I don't believe religion and your policies have anything to do with each other. I mean, because I can tell you a bunch of crazy, horrible shit that Christians have done, namely the Catholic Church. So you want to start claiming that Allah is bad or Democrats don't love God and all this other shit? There's a lot of people in this country who claim to love God and has done some really bad things. Keep in mind, the Klan used to meet at churches and burn crosses. They were Christians. The Klan was doing that. They were Christians. So don't end up going down this road where you think one religion is all good people and another one is all bad people. They all got plenty of bad people in them. Doesn't matter which religion we're talking about. Twisted. Good evening. Welcome to the program. What the hell was that? Twisted, good evening.
Hey, man.
Hey.
Yeah, man, it's my phone, so.
I got a poll question going on right now asking which president is corrupt more so, and the choices are Biden or Trump. Only a couple dozen folks responded so far. 88% saying Trump is more corrupt than Biden. What do you see any corruption in Trump, Twisted?
Oh, man, please, come on, man. Like, do you really have to ask? Like, Trump is the most corrupted president that we have ever had in history.
Examples. What is he doing to make you say he's corrupt?
Well, for one, he's a fugitive. He's harboring.
What do you think this is, Harrison Ford? Trump is not a fugitive. He's not a fugitive.
Yes, it is. He is a fugitive, man. Come on.
Not a fugitive. We know where he's at. Trump is Well, he may be a fugitive to The Hague, just like Netanyahu is, but he's not a fugitive in America.
Yes, he is, man.
Okay.
This is, hey, man, look, this is like the fugitive, like 2.5.
Oh my God.
This is 2.5. So Trump is hiding, get away. Absolutely anything, man.
Well, if you believe he's a fugitive, you never believe Trump will be brought to justice.
Eventually, but if it doesn't happen, then life is going to teach him, like, it is a lesson. So,
I don't know. I mean, what about for the sake of the country and keeping us united? Do you think it might be harmful, if not incredibly divisive, once Trump is out of office, to go and pursue him and have all these court? Because there's going to be a large contingent of folks still that are loyal Trump supporters. And you only need one or two to act a fool. Perhaps it might be better, as some would suggest, The guy is 80 plus years old at that point. Just let that die with him, as opposed to you want to bring him to justice in his 80s, probably be mid 80s by the time you end up getting that to come to fruition.
That's a good question. I really don't know what to really say. I would say, if you ever seen those shows like the 48, there's there's like Snap and all those other like type of ones. So I would say his time is coming, but we just don't know
Coming how?
gonna be.
Coming in what way? What do you mean by his time is coming? Well, I mean, he's 80 years old. All of it is coming. He's lived a full life already. What do you mean by his time is coming?
He is going to answer for the stuff that he is going to be.
So you're talking about, when you say answer, you mean just like what Stick was talking about, answering with God?
Yeah, and then also though he is going to have to answer in his human like form though. He has to answer for the things that he was trying, to do. And it's just really, and you also got to think of it though, like this: if you're going to be in a higher power type of a position, you have to hold yourself to a certain standard. And
So based on what you're saying, so he escapes accountability on earth, basically. If Trump has done something wrong, you believe he is going to completely escape accountability on earth. The best hope is for the deity to get him, for him to be, for God to get him. Is that what you're saying?
I'm simply saying is he's going to have to answer it in both forms. So.
And I agree with the comments. MDJ says God will not hold him accountable either. Well, I listen.
Look, he don't know what he's saying though. That's not how it all like works though. So I don't know where he got that from, but that's not how it works though.
I don't know. I don't always feel confident that, I mean, 'cause, most of the folks who were descendants of the Confederates and descendants of slave owners and things like that, they believe their grandma and papa is in heaven. They don't believe even though their grandma, their papa was involved in all of that shit or was against, African Americans, people having civil rights, and thank you, New Vision, they still believe their parents are in heaven. So I don't know if you can depend on the deity to hold these people accountable. A lot of folks believe as long as you confess your sins and you actually believe, he's not going to hold you accountable to anything. He's going to accept you in there.
It's a bit technical, but yeah, it is really, really hard to really it's just really hard to say. So
yeah. And in the comments, Billy Wop asked me, he's asking me personally, Tim, if you went to heaven, would you expect to see Trump walking around? Well, based on what I was taught that God even forgives murder as long as you believe in God and you confess your sins or whatever the case may be. So yeah, he could get in. I mean, he's a really good talker. Maybe he ran some kind of deal with St. Peter and he opened up the damn gates. Yeah, he's sitting up there chilling, him and Melania up there hanging out. Yeah, I believe it. He right over there with the dude with the Confederate flag. That dude talked his way in there too. Yes, I believe it. It's possible.
Hey man, if you don't mind, let me just open up these doors right quick.
Right. We gonna make heaven great again. Like, goddamn, all y'all here? Shit, there's Rubio in the corner. Yeah, I believe it's possible. I mean, he's a really good talker, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
That man has gotten what he has wanted his whole life. He has got everything he has wanted, has always won his way just about his whole life, plus or minus an election or two. But he's gotten what he wanted, so it wouldn't surprise me if he gets into heaven.
Yeah, it's I don't know, like it's just that somebody here on Earth has to hold him accountable at some point, though. So, and even if it's not going to be his own party or the Democrats, somehow something will teach him, like it is a lesson.
I'm going to tell you, don't count on it. But let me ask you this: what do you? Because this is the actual question of the live. What do you think the goal of the Trump administration is? Now, he ran on everything from affordability to lowering gas prices to ending wars. But now that he's in there, now that we've seen almost half of his term is almost complete, what do you think the actual goal of the Trump administration is?
So, I think his actual goal is to, I would say, like, he is going to make a mockery of it, though. And I would honestly say that his goal is to cause world panic, though.
What would be the purpose of it deliberately causing world panic? Why would he even want to do that?
Because this is how this administration is. They are tampering with the voting.
Yeah, but what's the purpose of, if he wants? You're saying the goal is to cause world panic. Why would he want to do that? How would he benefit by doing that?
By silencing people who are not white, or he wants to silence everybody that is not of what his race is.
What do you think Trump is, like some kind of? What do you think he is? Some kind of supreme racist or something?
Pretty much.
What has he done to make you believe that he is only in favor of white people? I gotta ask.
By the stuff that he is reacting on, I would be shocked if Trump actually knows some aliens and something comes out to where that we would be turning into the children of the corn.
Oh my God! But you don't believe Trump really is out to get every race and propel the white man to the? You don't believe Trump is a white supremacist, do you? That's what it sounds like you're saying.
You will be shocked of what I know, what is actually in the government, though.
I would love to know if you're trying to say that. I mean, listen.
Yeah.
Listen, I've heard that. Wait, hold on. I've heard that Trump gave money to Jesse Jackson when he was running for office. I've heard that Trump used to date an African-American woman, so he says. I have not seen this woman, but I heard that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to bring in the...
I think that's fake. That's fake, man.
Yeah, I do believe that if Trump had dated a black woman.
Never dated no woman, no African American. He is not trying to touch. No.
Well, no, because he might have hit one. Listen, even slave masters was banging some of the slaves. That's because you could be vehemently racist and still go out and hit something. I mean, that don't mean he actually viewed her as equal. He might have just thought she was attractive and he went ahead and hit it.
So, do you honestly think that he would let anybody tap and and rub that stuff with with his own wife, though? With Melania?
Why would he want? What do you mean? Would he let somebody else hit Melania?
Yeah.
Why would you want somebody to hit your wife? Of course not.
No. Like, tapping that ass.
Why would you think he would be okay with a black man or anybody tapping his own wife's ass? Nobody's going to be okay with that.
It's the same thing if Trump was doing it to somebody else, though. Why is it okay for Trump to do that to other women, but if his wife was, if he was letting his wife like step out,
why would he let his wife step out regardless of race? He ain't gonna let his wife step out no matter who, no matter what the person's race is. He ain't gonna let Melania Trump step out and get involved in an extramarital affair with anybody, even if it's, you know, a close friend of his. Ain't gonna let that happen.
I'm just saying, you got to think about that, though.
I don't think I've ever thought about that. But like I said, I'm still not hearing anything that would make me understand why you're saying the man is a white supremacist. New Vision, thank you very. Some of you folks, help your boy with the hat and mustache. TikTok cap goes, not a lot of love there. I get it, but help your boy out if you can. Go ahead.
See, somebody in the comments just said, I think Melania is already did it, though. See, that proves my point, though. See, like right there. So,
well, listen.
Obviously,
yeah, I don't
Trump
think
cannot satisfy her, though.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, but to be honest with you, you're probably right. I mean, Trump is 80 years old. I doubt if, I mean, Melania, what is she? Is she even 50? I think she's 50 something. I mean, yeah, he may not be able to satisfy her at his old age. That probably is true. New Vision. Thank you for the head mustache. I'll leave it at that. That's crazy though. You asking whether he could let her step out, but maybe. I mean, listen. Some folks that are married do have that agreement where, you know, look, you go do you, and I'll do me, and we'll meet back at the crib at the end of the day. So
yeah,
maybe they got some.
I would just honestly say that Trump is going to either take the way out as in having a dirt nap, or something else is going to happen. And how the world is being run now, we are facing our darkest hour.
I hope you're wrong. I hope it's just a presidential candidate or a president that you don't like, and the country moves on. I don't want us facing our darkest hour, but you're not the only one saying it. Twisted, thanks for coming through.
All right, man.
Appreciate it. You too. Tap the screen, get us on up to 40,000. Did you see Absolute Power with Clint Eastwood? No, I have not. No, I have not seen that. And some like to watch him. What do you say? Trump is a cook? A cook? You hire somebody to handle Melania Trump. You know, you get a Mandingo or something like that, and he's sitting in the corner, kind of grooming himself, if you know what I mean. Is that what you're trying to suggest, that our president would be involved in that? I'm going to think not. I'm going to think, nah, you guys are really wild. Looking in the comments, Obama, Biden, and Biden-Harris didn't release any Epstein files. Only Trump did after 20 years. No, Trump released the Epstein files only after Congress forced him to. You're saying that Obama, Biden, and then Biden-Harris didn't release any Epstein files. Trump was not going to release them either. Trump had no plans on releasing the Epstein files. And you heard Marjorie Taylor Greene even state that. Not to mention, Trump had posts stating, stop talking about Epstein. That's what he posted on his own Truth Social account. So before you go to giving Trump credit for releasing the Epstein files, understand Congress forced him to do that. And then he still took his time to do it. And even as we speak, there are 3 million files that have not been released. Trump had no intention of releasing the Epstein files. Do not give him credit for something he had no intention of doing. You said no one did repeat what he said. What do you mean there, Red G? Trump is afraid of the truth in the files. I don't know why. I don't think it would make a difference. I've told you guys that several times. I do not believe anything in those files would make a difference. Trump is doing things right now that at the very least, and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but at the very least makes him look really fucking corrupt. At the very least, some of this stuff makes him look really fucking corrupt. MAGA's not complaining about this shit at all. They're still on the Somalis. Ain't no Somali made $2 billion in 1 year. Ain't no Somali buying islands and all kinds of shit. When the last time you heard of a Somali getting a no-bid contract? At 20. So, talk about Barron Trump, by the way. So what I'm saying is, if you get into the Epstein files, I don't think it's going to matter in the eyes of MAGA, no matter what comes out of those files. Their love for Trump is going to endure that. Most MAGA does not think Trump has done anything corrupt at all. Hey, he's a successful businessman. He's done a lot for the country. He deserves the money he's made. So be it. Shit, maybe he deserves one of those minors. You never know, depending on who you talk. I've had some of them state that, I'm watching, what is that young kid's name? Dean Witter or whatever his name is. He's interviewing this young girl, probably early 20s. She's MAGA. And he tells her that it looks like Trump probably did take the sexual innocence of minors. She's vehemently against. There's no way this would ever happen. So he brings up that because she's trying to go with Biden sniffing kids and stuff as a counter, and he brings up Trump even boasted about going in a changing room or a dressing room of young pageant contestants. She absolutely did not believe that whatsoever. Witter plays a clip of Trump saying this to Howard Stern on air. She hears the clip and she said, well, he's a man. I like men that find women attractive. So I don't think anything's going to come out of the Epstein file. The minute she actually heard that he was in there basically eyeing 15-year-old girls, she went from that ain't something he would ever do to suddenly, well, he is a man, and I like the fact that a man can appreciate a female silhouette. Kind of going against that whole Democrats don't know what a woman is, and I don't want a gay guy, I want an alpha male to run the country, even if he's looking at a 15-year-old. So she went from saying he didn't never do it to defending it the minute she heard him admitting it. And I would submit to you the Epstein files would be something very similar. First, we would be saying there's no way in hell he took the innocence of a child. And then it would go to something else like the child was groomed and made up the story, or the FBI agent that interviewed the child worked for the liberals or was a Democrat plan or part of the deep state. So I really don't think anything that comes out of the Epstein files is going to matter. He bragged about it and MAGA seemed unbothered. It's really strange. That's what I'm saying. President Biden improved our economy every quarter he was in office. Trump failed, says Payne. All right. All presidents use it to enrich themselves. I have never seen a guy run a campaign saying, I'm going to be better than every president. I'm going to drain the swamp and expose all the corruption that just about every president was involved in. And then once he gets in office, all we do is defend him by saying he's just like every other president. They all lie. They all make money on the side. They all have a fair. He was supposed to be better than everybody. Now he's in there and all we can do is compare him to everybody. It's crazy. If I cannot tell you how many times I've seen MAGA say they all do that. Okay, fair enough. In the comments, tap the screen, get us up to 40,000. We'll take the next caller. Just the head like getting to the hunt. Don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Whatever your name is, but somebody, DOA is saying Beetlejuice, gangster grandma, gangster grandma, gangster grandma. Republicans love sick freaks, says MRC. Really? Yikes. These had almost 50 years of corruption. You expect Trump to fix everything in 4 years. Wow. No, I don't expect Trump to do a damn thing more than what he promised. Trump didn't run for office saying shit's been fucked up for 50 years. There's no way I'm gonna fix it in 4 years. No, he promised to fix it. Now he fails, and we're supposed to, as voters, we should have known he was lying and he couldn't do it in 50 years, huh? This is what I'm talking about. You guys come up with some wild defenses. You're actually holding folks accountable you're blaming folks for holding Trump accountable for not fixing fraud and not fixing what he promised because it's been that way for 50 years and he can't undo it in 4 years. You're not holding them accountable for actually making a promise. He promised to do this shit. God. And I see in the comments, Dorothy says he tried. Let me know what your address is so I'll know where to mail the participation trophy to. He tried. In the comments, President, oh, I saw that. All presidents use it to rest. You guys with the all president. Epstein files are older than 20 years. No, they're not. Not all of them. Epstein files are older than 20 years. Left my ass off. And Democrats don't mention Obama and Biden or Biden and Harris not releasing them. Well, I just mentioned it. None of them released it. But that's what I'm talking about. Trump ran on the belief that all of these folks have let you down, up to and including getting to the bottom of the Epstein files. These folks have let you down. If you put me in office, I will help you get to the bottom of this. I will help you straighten the fuck ups that they didn't do. Now that he's in office and he's failing on his promise, their only response is, well, let's go back to talking about the failures of Biden and Obama. Go figure. Tim, you should make a hat. Make liberals great again. I'll buy it. Stevie D, I must make liberals great again, huh? I'm assuming there's probably one of those out there. Tap the screen, get us up to 40,000. We'll take the next caller. And looking in the comments, it's just one thing to run a company and another to run.
Inflation is tamed. Interest rates will dramatically fall. They'll be down very, very low. We'll get them down. We had them down to 2.4% and even lower than that for a period of time. Reducing mortgage rates is a big factor.
I got about an hour.
We're going to get them back down to, we think, 3%, maybe even lower than that, saving the average home buyer thousands of dollars per year. They can now go out. Young people will be able to buy a home again and be a part of the American dream. We will eliminate regulations that drive up housing costs with the goal of cutting the cost of a new home in half. We think we can do that.
I mean, I got about an hour of these campaign promises that President Trump made.
Yes, we will make
and he didn't deliver on. I mean, it's crazy how much of this shit there is. I mean, he promised, and this is why I often say I totally understand why people voted for Trump. I mean, I'm just listening to some of his campaign promises that I had forgotten. He promised a lot of good shit. So I totally understand why people voted for him. It makes sense.
I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years of the history of our country. Starting on day one, we will end inflation and make America affordable again.
Look, Social Security won't be touched, other than this fraud or something we're going to find. It's going to be strengthened, but won't be touched. Medicare, Medicaid, none of that stuff is going to be touched. Nothing. I don't have to. Fifth pillar of my plan is to make the Trump tax cuts permanent. They are massive tax cuts, biggest ever. Permanent.
I mean, out of all the clips I get, I don't think one of these things have come true. But he made a bunch of good promises. So shout out to President Trump. He said what it took to get in there, and he is in there. But out of all the stuff I got, I don't think the ending the war in 24 hours, he's going to cut energy prices in half by 12 months, which expired in January of this year early. So that's, 7-8 months already past due. But he said he's going to cut your energy costs in half. He's going to give you $2 a gallon gas. I mean, he promised so many things that I'm not hating on anybody that voted for Trump. If you voted for all of the great things he promised, the Gilded Age, I mean, it sounded fantastic if you believed it, but yeah, I don't think any of that stuff has come true. If you're broke in the USA, you need to learn to be more conservative. Laugh my ass off. I don't know why you would say that, Tobias, because most of the poorest areas in the USA are very, very conservative. Most of the deep red, just look at the Bible Belt states. That's where most of your poverty is. The rural Louisiana, rural Mississippi, rural Alabama, rural West Virginia. That's where all your poverty's at. And all of that shit's very conservative. So you're not going to escape poverty by becoming a conservative. You may end up digging a deeper hole. Miss Mo Betta, like Kentucky. In fact, somebody in the comments said Kentucky. The eastern half of Kentucky, 8 of the poorest counties are in eastern Kentucky. Miss Mo Betta, good evening.
Hi, Tim. Hi, everybody.
So we're asking a simple question today. What is the goal of the Trump administration?
To drain the resources.
You said drain the swamp? Is that what I heard? Drain the swamp?
The resources. You heard me correctly. His goal. He doesn't care about. He came in with a vengeance, and he doesn't care who it affects, because as long as he's enriched and he's enriched his family beyond measure, he doesn't care. They have the right. He put the right people in place to help him obtain his fuckery.
So you think this whole thing, you make it sound like you believe Trump's whole entire presidency is just one big heist.
It is.
He's a rich guy already. He don't need the money.
But people like him want more and more and more.
At 80?
More. Yeah. Because you see what he's doing. He's giving the contracts to his kids and all that stuff. So his age don't mean shit. I want to make sure they're going to have just as much money as me. You see how he's selling gold cards. He's selling pardons. He's doing all kind of shit that it has nothing to do with us common American folk.
Why do you think MAGA, Trump supporters, have such a different opinion than you? Because MAGA thinks he's doing a great job. They're not talking this grift shit like you're talking. And thank you, Travelman.
That's cult behavior. I don't know if you've ever watched these documentaries on how cults work. They don't go against anything that their leader said. That's cult behavior. And listen, you don't have to intend something to achieve it. And I'm going to say it again for you. You don't have to intend something to achieve it. He's achieved becoming a cult leader because his fan club are cult members.
Oh, if you're gonna make the suggestion that MAGA is a cult, I have to ask why. What is Trump offering that would make his supporters basically follow him like he's the Pied Piper?
Well, this is where the conversation becomes uncomfortable.
Okay, let's get uncomfortable.
So they say, well, why every time you speak you bring up race? We are dealing with a racist, misogynistic ass country. Tim. Prove me wrong.
Is that something that just started under Trump? Was we not a racist, misogynistic country under Biden?
No. It didn't just start under him. Did you not hear what I said? We are dealing with the misogynistic, racist ass country. That was from the beginning.
Okay, so that's always been there. So I'm asking, according to you, that's always been there. So what I'm asking you is, what did Trump do to lead to his followers, in your opinion, being like cult members? What is he offering?
He didn't. All he had to do was show up. They didn't care who was in there. It just so happened. See, after Obama was like a rock that fell into a snake pit. Do you know what happens when you drop a rock into a snake pit? They all scatter out and they start being exposed a little more. You understand what I'm saying? So when Obama came in office, those old time fake ass Christian ass nationalist people was mad because there's no way that a black man was ever supposed to run this country, let alone a woman, and then a black woman. Come on, Tim. And I people don't like hearing about race, but it's the truth. It's true.
So you it almost sounds like you're trying to indicate that Trump's main fuel that helped him rise to power is racism.
It's racism. It's misogyny. And he capitalized on that shit because he does have that. And you see how when he got in here, what he's doing this time around, you know what he's doing? He spent this time trying to take all the black history out of the museum, trying to take down statues.
But
trying to change DEI because it geared towards minority group.
Okay, how can Trump be running on a campaign or a presidency of racism when he did better with African American males than the likes of Bush and Reagan and many other? He actually did better in achieving the black male vote than many other Republicans. Why would black males vote for a racist guy? Make that make sense.
Because a lot of those that are weak and they're afraid of women. They don't like women, Tim. Yeah, you can look where you want to.
You believe that?
I don't believe you like a season.
I'm talking about my black males that wear the hat. I don't know if I got any of them listening, but if you do, please speak up in the comments if you're black MAGA. You're trying to tell me that black MAGA does not like women?
Nope.
Based on what?
They also have that notion that they believe women belong in the kitchen and bedroom.
Well,
yeah. So, and I want you to explain to me why y'all don't like us, because you don't like us either. I don't believe you do.
You don't believe I like women?
Nope, not black women. You go hard. I'm playing gangster grandma on your ass.
Oh my God.
When it comes to talking about Kamala, even Jasmine Crockett, you don't go as hard. But
that's my order.
I said, is he a part of the He-Man Woman Haters Club or something?
I'm a carnivore. That's my primary diet. Listen, I think you got me wrong in particular, but I'm trying to. The idea that black MAGA does not like women is crazy.
Straight me out, then. Straight me out, then. Okay.
That's what I do to black women. Yes, that's what I do. I think you're getting me wrong. I think you've been watching the show a little too close or something. I don't know, but stay out of the comment section, because the comment section is what's throwing you off. Must be.
Now listen, I'm gonna cut this short right now because I have my grandson, and I just to sum it up with him, he's here to drain the economy and bankrupt us like he did all of his businesses.
Wow. And
as long as he's enriched himself, he doesn't give a fuck what happens to the country after. He knows they're not going to win the midterms. He doesn't care. So, I'm just saying.
But if the Democrats win the midterms, they're coming after him too, at the very least, in terms of his money and impeachment.
Just for him being an asshole. just for him being a classless asshole, getting us into these WAORs, which you said that you wasn't going to do no new wars and all of that stuff. Like, everything he said that he was going to do, he did the total opposite. And for the life of me, anybody that actually supports him needs to be studied.
Ooh. I'll leave it at that. Ms. Mobetta, appreciate you coming through. Thank you. All right, straightening them out. All right, tap the screen, get the likes up to 50,000 if you will. I did post a poll. Do you believe Trump took the sexual innocence of a minor in regards to what we were talking about? Trump doesn't do good on these polls. Wow. What is it, 30 people so far? 84%. Damn. Do you believe Trump took the sexual innocence of a minor? 84% says he did. Wow. That's high. That's one of the highest, more lopsided. I mean, even MAGA represents 30% usually. So most of my polls, Trump, if there's anything negative about Trump, at least 30% of the respondents usually defend Trump, because MAGA is about 30% of the voting public. I can't even get 30% in this one. 18% says no, Trump did not take the sexual innocence of a child. I'll leave the poll up for a while and see if it changes, but that's really, really low. MDJ says he gave them a lollipop. Well, there's nothing wrong with giving a child a piece of candy, is it? I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about actual lollipop, right? Not the flesh. In the comments, how long will it take for MAGA to realize what a sleaze, lowlife Trump is? And thank you for Hat Mustache, their alter ego. Yeah! And I was going to say that. Help you boy with the Hat Mustache TikTok cap goes. A few of you guys are. Thank you very much. And I see your comment, Arnita says, no, the other one. Yikes. I forgot what I was about to say when she threw that in. I'm gonna just continue because I don't even remember what I was about to say. But we're asking, what is the goal of the Trump administration? What is Trump actually trying to accomplish? What is the goal? Because look, if you compare Trump's campaign promises to Trump's president, it almost looks like it's two different people. What Trump campaigned on versus what he's doing. Thank you for the hat mustache, Lewis, and Advent Comics. I appreciate the love. Thank you. If you look at what Trump campaigned on versus what he is doing, it looks like it's two different people. So I am asking, what is the goal? What is he actually trying to do? Before we go back to the box, tap the screen, get us up to 50,000. Trump falls just like Biden, says ASAP. And Richard Crosby says, Tim wants those snow bunnies in every season. What is a snow bunny? Is that a rabbit that's outside in the wintertime? Huh, snow bunny. What do you think you were going to get from a 34-time felon who keeps defending pedophiles, says Carlos. Well, he's not officially defending pedos. He's defending keeping the Epstein list secret. So I guess in a roundabout way that is defending them, but officially he's not defending pedos. The goal is forming a dictatorship style of government, a positive change. That's frightening. And somebody else says more like they're trying to make an authoritarian. Both of those are frightening. Trump says Iran will have hell to pay for killing U.S. soldiers. Look, Iran don't give a fuck what Trump says. Before I go to the next caller, how many times has Trump threatened total annihilation of Iran in the last 4 or 5 months? Have they showed any iota that they're concerned with that? He threatened, what did he say? He was going to, a whole civilization would die. I mean, how many times has he threatened to do brutal shit to them? It's not working. He needs to move on from that. The threats are not. Continuing on, we'll go to Lewis. Good evening, Lewis. Welcome to the program. Trump loves Andrew Tate. Didn't Andrew Tate just get arrested? Will he pardon him? Lewis, good evening.
Hey, how's
it's going all right? Asking what is the goal of the Trump administration?
I think it's to show that this country can be robbed from that position, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Robbed?
He's taking that. I mean, pretty much. He's just taking money left and right. I mean, there's just no way. He's making money off the presidency, which no other president has ever done it the way he's done it. I'm not going to say none of them did it, but none of them done it to the level that this guy's done it to, the way it's so obvious. I mean, he is really robbing this country, even just on his name. Just getting a plane donated to him by somebody was actually an adversary to us less than 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Qatar. I mean, it's like you know what the real deal with that plane was. They know that plane was bugged. And that's why they wouldn't even let fly it back from over there. Because they knew it probably was going to be blown out the sky by Iran.
Oh, you mean that well, if that's the case, then Qatar is not an ally.
I think all those guys, there's nobody in the Middle East that's an ally of ours, not even Israel. Israel is a trading partner, and people need to get it right. They are a trading partner of ours. We trade information with them to give them what they need to defend themselves. They are a trading partner. They are not an ally. You figure when 9/11 happened, the one country in the Middle East that didn't even bother to help us at all was who?
Israel.
Thank you. So they're not an ally of ours. Every one of our other allies over in the Middle East, even Saudi Arabia, did give us something and help us in some kind of a way. Israel didn't help us in any kind of way other than that phony information that they say they give us.
Well, Israel is helping us. It's just not to our liking. Israel is paying off the right politicians to look the other way.
Yeah, but that's not helping us. How's it helping us?
That's how it's always worked. Most of this shit don't help us. It's the politicians go in there to help themselves.
Well, I don't agree with that. I hate when people say that. I think every politician that goes to office goes in there with good intentions,
really,
to do good and to try to help the country. I really do believe that. I know my son did. My son's in politics, so I'm telling you now, there's no way. They go in with good intentions, but they do get a lot of good information, like when some business is going bankrupt, when things are happening, where to invest money at, and those kind of things. They do get money contributed to them by boosters. But that's an old tactic that
So wait.
you do that.
So you believe Trump went in with good intentions, then, right?
I think Trump went in with the intentions of what he's doing, and that is to show that he could rob this country.
Well, you just said you believe politicians originally go in with good intentions. It changed that into Trump.
But this is the one guy that I admit now. I'm not going to be like the little fool and say he's not a politician, because once you politician, Trump was not a politician when he went into politics.
I don't know why people say that. He was absolutely a politician. I mean, you don't rise to be a you don't rise to be a real estate mogul in a very corrupt city like New York City without politicking. The man was donating money and hanging around the Clintons, hanging around Jesse Jackson, the guy's been hanging around politicians his whole adult life, claiming he's not a politician.
Politicking is not being a politician. Politicking is what it is. Everybody politics. I bet you politics on your
That ain't what I mean. What I'm saying is President Trump was literally living the life of a traditional politician. Just like they say what they need to say to get where they need to go. I mean, everything he was doing was what a politician does.
But I think every politician that goes into politics, especially when they go in at a young age, they actually go into it with the good intentions to do good for the people in their community. I really do believe that. I don't think Trump has no people in his community that he's trying to do good for. He has nobody that he's trying to do good for.
I disagree with that.
Trump went into politics for Trump and his constituents, not the regular people, not middle class people.
Well, shit, Louis
didn't give a shit about no middle class.
Louis, the people in his community are not like you and I really believe he's doing a great job for people in his community. The extremely elite, wealthy people are the people in his community, and he's doing a great job for them.
But I don't think nobody else does that with that intention to look out for the wealthy and the rich. I think he's the only one that's ever done that. I don't even think George Bush, who was a wealthy man when he went into politics, you forget that guy owned the freaking Houston Astros.
Right.
I mean, so he was a billionaire before he went in too. So my thing is that he had money too, but
they all did really, except for Obama.
Yeah, well, you know what? Clinton wasn't a billionaire.
Yeah, no, but he had been governor of Arkansas for how long? He wasn't poor.
No, he wasn't poor. He wasn't poor as Obama, put it that way. But he came from a very poor. You got to figure, Clinton grew up in a trailer, man. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he was pretty poor. And Hillary's family wasn't rich either when she was trying to be a politician. Most of them are really upper class, middle at best when they go into politics. Most of them are upper class.
Yeah. The Obamas were still paying loans when they went in the White House, so they really would.
But I'm gonna tell you something. But I still think Michelle Obama was wealthier than Barack was. You know, I think because she had a great job. She was working for a major law firm and was making good money. You got to figure she was his boss when he asked her out. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know that.
He was kind of.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was. He went to her firm as an intern, and she was pretty much his supervisor. And he was bold enough to ask a supervisor out, and they started dating.
That boy got game, don't he?
She told him no. She turned him down.
That boy got game, though.
Yeah, he got game, but he's a cool dude. But now you got to admit he's a cool dude. I mean,
somebody also argue that he is actually above her level. You know, you ever get with a girl and you like, she's kind of out of my league the way she look. Some would argue that he might be above her level.
I don't think so, man. I think she's pretty hot myself. I mean, that's just me. I think she's pretty hot. I'm sorry. I think they're a good compliment to each other.
I think there's probably far more women that think Barack is hot than there are dudes that think that Michelle is hot, though.
And but I'm an old man, so I think she's hot. But and that's all I can say. You know what? Sometimes what we like, and that's just
right.
She's definitely my idea of a. She's a beautiful black woman. And Tim, I am going to tell you, why do you hate on black women so hard?
Why the hell y'all keep saying that? What have I done to indicate?
I'm just telling you. Over the last. Now,
What am I doing?
I told you I was watching you. I was watching when you was trying to sell electric bikes. So I'm gonna tell you right now that I definitely. I go back a long way, bro. I'm gonna tell you right now that
I'm curious about what you're about to say.
It's just the last few months. I just have felt like you really have got a thing against black women.
What if I said this anti-black? Give me something I've said this anti-black woman, because
I think it started with Kamala Harris. Now it seems like it's every black woman that comes up. You think they don't qualify for nothing.
Wait. First of all, I made it clear Kamala Harris does have the resume to run. I just thought she was not good at selling herself to the people. She has. I said she has a better resume than Obama.
When you say it like that, I agree with you 100%, and I agree with you that America is not ready for a black woman. But her resume was as good as Hillary, and I think Hillary's was impeccable. You know what I'm saying? To be the first woman president. But like I said, I don't think she was a bad candidate. I think she just got in a bad situation. And I blame a lot of that on Biden. Biden should have dropped out. He shouldn't even ran the second term. So he left her short-handed like that. But his only thing was he did not want Trump to win, and he knew he could still beat Trump.
You're talking about hating on black women. I got a question for you. Or Betty, I got a statement to read here. I'm gonna read it. It's it's coming from Gen X, and I'll let you tackle it any way you want. He says Michelle is hot by whose standard? National Geographic, and then he has a bunch of smiley emojis. So he clearly does not think Michelle Obama is hot.
And somebody like him, I wouldn't expect that. You know what I'm saying? He thinks. See, to me, Melania Trump is not an ugly woman, but she is definitely plastic and made up and don't look good at all to me. That just doesn't turn me on. And my girl is white. It ain't got nothing to do with race. My love of my life of 25 years is white. You know what I'm saying? So it's not race. And I'm telling you, to me, she is plastic as hell, got no ass, got no tits. So, you know, she has nothing whatsoever. Now, he probably thinks she's hot. And I respect it. And hold up now, and I respect that, Tim. If that's what he thinks is hot, that's fine. But I like some booty and I like some breasts. You know what I'm saying? That's just me.
But you can see a picture of Melania.
And I know most of us brothers feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I have seen Melania when I have seen her. I think she's a great model. I think she wears clothes well. I think man, I'm telling you something. If Trump wasn't a billionaire, no way in the fuck she was fucking. There's no way, dude. You know what I'm saying?
True. That is true. That's 100% true. Yeah, if Trump was Trump, the bus driver, he would not have Melania Trump. That is a mail order bride if there ever was one. So I don't disagree with that at all.
Well, you got to look this way too now. If Beyonce worked at McDonald's, she could still have Jay-Z. But if Jay-Z worked at McDonald's, there ain't nowhere in the hell he could have Beyonce.
I kind of wonder how he got her now. Jay-Z don't look worth shit.
Because he's a billionaire. He's a billionaire. That's why he is smooth. Now he is smooth. He is smooth.
Yeah. Well, but that is the difference between us men from women, is that a wealthy man will marry or will get with a broke ass woman. Usually, very wealthy women will not deal with broke ass men.
You ain't got a chance. You ain't got a chance. Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. That's on point. But I mean, I want to get to this on more of a serious note. I was listening to the dumbest person that calls into your show, and you seem to want to put him in every night before I come up. You didn't tonight though, so I haven't heard him.
I'm curious as to who this is. Who are we referring to?
Who do you think I'm talking?
Oh man, I'm assuming it's somebody on the right. So you're gonna be Jeremy, MAGA Reacts, Gen X, one of them.
MAGA Reacts. Now let me just say this to you. He is dumb. Let me say this to you, Tim. When we leave combat zones, especially as far away in the Middle East, it's easier for us to leave that equipment over there than to bring that equipment back. Just get that point. I heard him say that several times on your show, that we left them all that equipment and they were dancing through with helicopters. And all. When we leave a country, now we did leave them a lot of small.
Now you're talking about for folks who don't know or didn't watch last night. You're talking about the equipment we left behind in Afghanistan. But keep going.
Yeah, all all of that equipment was disarmed, and they could never get it repaired because they could never get the parts to make it operable. So even if they were running around with helicopters, those helicopters were rendered inoperable when we left there. There's no way to ever fly those things, or you'll never see them flying around.
Well, one of them, I believe they were flying one of them. I think that's where the footage was of one of the helicopters was flying.
No, that's not true. That's not true. They might have stole one from they might have stole one from the Afghan military that they left, but it wasn't one that our army left. You got to figure we gave them a lot of equipment that was theirs. They bought it from us. Now, what they did with theirs, that's one thing. But what we left, we make inoperable. All of the we didn't leave them anything but defensive weapons, and we didn't leave them any arms that were any large arms. Yeah. They didn't have any large arms. They just had defensive weapons pretty much when we left there. That's because that's all they had. They don't have any aggressive weapons. We didn't leave them no choppers.
I felt me and MAGA went back and forth, but I felt the same. I'm like, we were ready when Trump got us out of Afghanistan and when he negotiated with the Taliban. Our stomachs had grown tired of being at war after, the Iraq war didn't spawn into so it was just I'm ready to get out, just end this shit. I don't care how you do it, end it. We were not going to continue giving them air support and all this other stuff. I'm going to tell you something. Actually, Biden did not want to leave. And the Supreme Court said he had to because Trump had signed that agreement. We had to leave. They did not want to leave. Biden did not want to leave. How the hell did the Supreme Court, how the hell did the Supreme Court force Biden to hold steadfast to a Trump agreement when Trump was allowed to break the JCPOA of Obama? Because he owns the Supreme Court. Yeah. He owned it then too. He owned the House then too. You got to figure we didn't have the House then either when Biden got in there. So it's like forget this. They still had control when Biden was in office. Biden managed to get his infrastructure. Yeah, it almost feels like you make a good point about they still had control when Biden was on, because it really does not feel. It feels like Trump is now working on his 10th year in office. It feels like Biden was just a footnote. It's like Trump has been in office the whole fucking time since 2016. Because he never went away. He never went away. Right. Every president in your lifetime, because I know my life, I've been in politics longer than you have, and I tell you what, every other president, when they were done, they were done. You know what I'm saying? George W. Bush Sr., when he lost after his first term, he disappeared. Yeah. When Barack has been trying to, it's gonna be hard for Barack. Stay under the radar. Yeah, he comes around when it's time to campaign for somebody, but yeah, you don't see him constantly posting shit online or doing a bunch of interviews. Yeah, he pretty much is out there surfing and hanging out. And Bush the same way. Bush don't come to nothing but funerals. No, Bush don't show up for nothing but funerals. He's out there fucking painting and selling paintings. He's selling big time paintings. He actually is a pretty good artist, really, if you look at some of his work. Okay. He actually is pretty good. But he's just done. I mean, he's done. I mean, to him, if you read his book, man, I'm telling you, Donald Trump is the most embarrassed. He's embarrassed every Republican president that was alive during his time, and the ones that's gone, every one of them has talked about. Whose book are you talking about? George W. Bush. Decision Points? I have that book right next to me somewhere. I actually have that. Did you read it? Yeah, you talking about this book here? No, he has another one. Okay, I haven't read it. Anyway. All right, fair enough. Because I know I got most of their books I have sitting next to me. I think he actually has 4 books out by now. Oh, okay. It's 3 or 4. Fair enough. All right, fair enough. I think that one you just showed is his first one. I didn't even read that first one. That's the first one. Because I know that first one wasn't going to... Yeah, that first one wasn't going to be nothing nice but a bunch of bullshit. But that's the one where he says that Kanye West made him cry when Kanye West said that George W. Bush doesn't like black people after Hurricane Katrina. Yeah, that was. But I give Bush credit, because if Kanye West had said Trump don't like black people, Trump would have attacked him. George W. Bush did not attack Kanye West. No, he didn't. Yeah, so. But you know what?
Number one, I think if Trump would have been in that same situation, Kanye West would have never said that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what we have to understand is that I'm a liberal. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm a liberal independent. I voted both ways on all kinds of situations. But one thing I can say is this right here is that most people, especially black people, this is where they get it mixed up at. They think most white people that are Democrats or liberals care about them. They just happen to have the same issues that you have. That doesn't mean that they're voting for black people. White people don't vote for black people.
Well, I mean, are we voting for white people?
No, we're just voting. We're voting for the issues that affect us. And if we come together, if we all come together, that's the only way it's going to work. Is that if we all come together.
Yeah, I mean that's not necessarily a dig on white people. I mean, fact is, we all vote based on issues that concern us. We don't tend to. If you're going through some drama, I don't tend to concern my vote over whether or not it helps your drama. I'm more focused on what it'll do for me first. That's just kind of how we do it.
I mean, I hate saying this. I don't like issue voters. I don't like people who just because they think they're going to get everything from one person. There's no one candidate that's going to make you happy if you're an intelligent person. There's just no way. You're going to have to give and take on both sides. So that's why I choose to be an independent. Now, I'm a registered Democrat in the state of Pennsylvania because you can't vote in the primaries in Pennsylvania if you're an independent. So I've always registered as a Democrat. Sucks that I have to do that.
Right. Before I'm moving on, I want to ask you one last question. As a Democrat in that state, what is your opinion of Senator Fetterman?
He's got to go. I mean, but I'm gonna tell you something. Now, Tim, this is the funny thing about it. I like him. I don't know why I like it, but I think now in the Democratic and liberal side of the House, we don't need nobody like him. We need you to stand fast. And you need you to be 100% in step with what they're trying to do. Because we don't need nobody that can waver back and forth like that because you can cause things not to happen. But when I listen to him, I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to be like, what was that guy named that was from Kentucky or?
Manchin, West Virginia, Senator Joe Manchin?
Manchin, that's.
Yeah. I already knew him and Kristen Sinema.
It's hard to dislike those guys. It's hard to dislike them because you get where they're coming from because they kind of do walk that fence. But this is not a time in our history where we need to be walking fences. You got to choose a side. It's like this. Tim, I'm gonna let you know this. I'm never going to say this to you again. I am a Dallas Cowboy fan. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Okay.
I love my Dallas Cowboys. As bad as they've been, boy, I always feel like we're going to win that Super Bowl. Every year I'm thinking we're going to win that Super Bowl. So I'm diehard. I'm going to go to my grave being a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Oh,
I'm a New York Knicks fan, and they came through to me. You know how mad I was that
game.
Well,
it was, right? What was it, 90? What was it, 96? When did they win? 96, 97 or something like that? When did the Cowboys win last time?
92, man, 94 or something like that.
That's like, yeah, I remember when they won. All right, well,
it was a long time ago.
I'm a Bears fan. Goddamn it, I go back to '85. I gotta move it on.
Right.
So, and just like you mentioned, the other team, my Cubs came through in 2016. So that's what it happens like that. And the White Sox in 2005.
And you know, but the funny thing about it, Tim, is that you guys don't. What you understand when you're a Cowboys fan. You come in with a whole lot of expectations. Everybody's got their eye on you. The Chicago Bears, when they do good, even I'm excited if the Chicago Bears do good. But ain't nobody excited if the Cowboys do good.
I don't buy that. I'll explain it on the other side. I got to move it on, Lewis. Let's go through. Appreciate it. All
right, Tim.
You too. Thank you. I disagree with you on the Cowboys, though, Lewis. Cowboys is America's team. They get a lot of national coverage. So I don't know if I would agree with you in saying that if the Cowboys do good, nobody cares. That's a huge franchise. I mean, the Bears, Chicago is it's a huge TV market. So any team from a really big television market is going to get a lot of, folks who jump on the bandwagon when the team is winning. So yeah, if the Bulls or the Bears or the Cubs, not so much the White Sox, but if any of those teams start doing well, the Bulls, Bears, or Cubs, the fan base explodes. So, I mean, like Good example. I follow Caitlin Clark, who plays for the Indiana, even the WNBA. She went to a small market, a rather small market in Indianapolis. If she had went to a, play for the New York Liberty or the LA Sparks or something, it would be probably significantly more valuable to the WNBA. It's just bigger TV market, but that's a different conversation. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 65,000. By the way, follow the program if you're watching us on Instagram. If you're watching us on Instagram, TikTok, Substack, YouTube, or maybe at Clapper, follow the program. If you're watching us on YouTube, give your boy a sub. I'm laughing because in the comments, what did somebody say? Of course, you do see white. Bet you didn't know Olivia Meyer. Poble, two things on your Poble. One of my guests is watching the program in the comments. One, Poble, I appreciate you tuning in. You've been one of the fans from the very beginning. You've been in the comment section for years, so I appreciate you tuning in. Two, all of your comments are negative. You're like my favorite insultant. I know if I see Poble's name, the comment below it is something negative. Listen, I can come in here throwing money at everybody. Poble would be like, you ain't throwing enough. Poble is 100% negative. But I like the fact that you tune, if you will. Her name is Miles. What it says, not Myers. Okay, that's how it was typed. Trump can't do anything by himself. He needs his stooges by his side. 24/7, they are not the ones coming. I disagree with that. I think that's what's happening. I think that's the problem, is Trump is doing everything by himself. I don't think there's hardly anyone that can advise Trump, sir, this is not a good idea to do this. And you can feel confident that he'll do it. I think that's kind of where we're going with this stuff, is that he is doing things on his own. And not, remember, Trump promised to surround himself with the best and brightest. That was his first term. I do believe that he kind of lived up to that campaign promise in his first term. His second term, these people are not the best and brightest. There's no way in hell I believe that Pete Hegseth is the best you could come up with. J.D. Vance and Rubio. I think Rubio's qualified. I'm going to hate on Rubio. But I don't favor, he had Kristi Noem there at the time. I don't think that was the best and brightest. In fact, I'll just say it like this. The number one bullet point Trump wants on your resume in his second go round is loyalty. I really don't care necessarily what you've done. I need to know, will you be loyal if I advise you to do something that goes against your moral standard or even makes you question whether it's legal or not? Can I count on you to ride with me? To me, that's the biggest asset Trump is looking for in his second term. First term, people were well-established Washington politicians, Washington insiders. Mike, who was that? I think they said Mike the Sailor. Thank you for the hat mustache. Appreciate that. Yeah, his second go round, it's just loyalty. It's just loyalty. And unfortunately, because they're going to be loyal to him no matter what he does, if he does the wrong thing, they're going to be okay with it. And that's where we're having all of the problems. Communism is not the direction we go in. I'm still trying to find out, particularly from MAGA, what exactly is communism? I really think that when it comes to Mamdani, AOC, Bernie Sanders, certainly the DSA they're pointing out, I think that we're just using communism as a boogeyman. I think most of the folks that are talking about the Democrats are trying to turn us into a communist country don't even know what communism is. I bet you, because Trump is obviously leading the pack in there. I bet you if you sat Trump down with a reporter and they asked him to describe what communism is, he would probably either insult the reporter or divert to something else. There really is no communist country, totally communist country in existence at this point. I mean, so what are they trying to turn us into? So, and when you hear them give the description of what they think these Democrats want the country to be, you're hard pressed to find any Democrat that's ever said that. They're just making up shit and trying to affix labels to the Democrat Party. And I see in the comments, Shanti says, but China really isn't in their description of communism. I mean, you can open up a business and everything in China. They're making it sound like if you open up a business, the government's going to be in control. Trump claimed that everything's going to be free. You're not going to, the government's going to give you everything. That's not happening in China. That's not happening anywhere. So, Trump claimed that they're going to close your churches and kill people. I played the quote of him saying that. That's not happening anywhere on earth. So it's just really boogeyman tactics, just making up shit. And when you ask MAGA, name a country that's like this, there's no answer for it because it's not happening anywhere. They're just making up stuff. And unfortunately, there are people buying into that. How many military personnel has died under President Trump? Well, there's no way to know that totally, but because I'll tell you this, they're telling you, who said that in the comments? Somebody asked how many military personnel, Devin McGee says, how many military personnel have died under Trump? The official statement is 18. But I'm going to tell you my humble opinion, I don't totally believe what's coming out of the Trump administration. I believe the goal of the Trump administration is to make the war effort look like it is nothing but 100% USA dominance. So if things go wrong for America, they're going to be hesitant to tell you. Like, for instance, they're saying that hundreds of people are injured. Injured how? What happened? What is the injury about? Did they get, did somebody get a cut on their arm from some shrapnel and needed a few stitches? Or are they missing a whole fucking arm? And it's injured how? So, yeah, I absolutely believe that if the Democrats take control after the midterms, you'll get a much clearer assessment on what's going on. But listen, Trump has been saying since day one, they're begging for a ceasefire. There is nothing we have seen throughout the course of this 5-month war that suggests Iran has been begging for a ceasefire. Trump said he won the war within the first few hours. There is nothing we have seen to indicate that. He said they were obliterated. Obviously, that's not happening. He said we could fly over Iran and do anything we want. There's nothing they can do about it. Well, they're killing a few people in the process. So the way Trump has framed this war has been solely based on American dominance and just painting pictures of nothing but Americans having success. For instance, you see them constantly talking about, particularly on Fox, America hammering Iranian targets at night. We're always blowing some shit up in Iran. Every response from Iran, if you listen to the right-wing media like Fox, we shot all of their shit down. Everything they launch, we have no problem shooting it down. I don't believe that's true. I do not believe that all of the Iranian ordnance that's flying out of Iran is getting shot down. I do believe some of that stuff is getting through, and they're just not telling us. Because I'm fairly certain that they destroyed 13 U.S. bases surrounding Iran in the beginning, and the Trump administration really did not announce that. I actually first heard about that shit from an Iranian Lego video before I was able to research it. So I don't trust what they're saying. That's just my opinion. Maybe you do. In the comments, how many churches have been burned in New York City since Mamdani took over? I don't know, and I don't know the relevance of why that's coming up. In the comment section, the U.S. government has spent $5 trillion during the current fiscal year, which represents the primary tracking. That's how 2 servicemen just died. Huh? I don't know the money in the. I don't get where you're going with that. I'll go back to the box. Tap the screen, help your boy with the hat, mustache, TikTok, cap, goals. I did want to play this again because some new folks are in here, but this is the toll that this war in Iran is costing us.
You estimated at one point that the cost of the war in Iran was $29 billion, but then added a caveat that there was a replacement of munitions, for example. Do you have a new estimate about what the war has cost us so far in this, the 5th month of the first year of this war in Iran?
Senator, the estimate we have as of today is $37.5 billion.
And is the current activity, which we've been told about, the exchange of fire back and forth in Iran, an indication that that number is going to go up in the months ahead?
Some of that number captures additional O&M, mill pay, and other that would be anticipated through the fiscal year. So some of that anticipates what costs would be going out in the future as well.
So the new number you've given is what?
$37.5 billion.
And that represents the cost of the war through what period of time?
Through now for certain aspects.
37 billion. $37 billion. I mean, we only been at war, since late February? So March, April, May, June, July, 5 months. What is 37 divided by 5, 6, 7, over $7 billion a month? That's averaging about over $7 billion a month. Wow. That's assuming that Hegseth is being honest. That's assuming that 37 billion number he's giving you is being honest. That's crazy. That's a lot of money for this. Anyway, looking in the comments, over 3 trillion globally. In China, pigeons are on the endangered species list. Are they eating them? I see in the comments, Arnita says Pete is lying. I'm not going to disagree with you. We talking about Hegseth, talking about the Trump administration. I do believe they would paint the numbers to be more rosy than they actually are if they could. We'll go to the box and make it happen with Travelman. Good evening, Travelman. Welcome. Do you know the regime in Iran is not native to Iran? They are occupying it. Do you know that we're partially responsible for why they're in Iran? That America's the one that took out the government before the Ayatollah? I mean, we put in people that turn out to be a disaster and then pretend like we didn't have nothing to do with putting them in there. Travelman, good evening.
What's going on, Tim? I haven't talked to you in a while, man.
Not much at all. Good to have you back on, though. We're asking a simple question today, which is, what is the goal of the Trump administration? Just when you factor in the campaign promises and what he ran on to become our 47th commander-in-chief versus what he is actually doing now that he is our 47th commander-in-chief. Some of the stuff he's taken a complete 180 on, and then obviously there's a host of other campaign promises that have not been met, and they don't even seem to be interested in trying to meet them anymore. So I'm asking that question. What is the goal of the administration?
Well, one of the goals, and he's doing a good job of it, is making his pockets back. The other goal is the dismantling of the government.
What would be the purpose of dismantling the government?
That's a good question, Tim.
Yeah.
Because they got everybody scared. Like you said, they're constantly talking about communism and socialism and all of that, you know? But when have you ever seen, I'm 67 years old, so when I've never seen our government buy into private companies and tell these private companies what to do. Okay? Trump goal is to, he wants to go down as the most powerful man in history.
That's already happened.
Yep, that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, he already is that.
He has the most powerful military in the history of the world. But he made a big mistake, and that is he went into Iran.
Yeah,
that was a big mistake. That is going to number one, severely damage more so than he has already.
But wait a minute, are you so it sounds like you're expecting the Iran war to turn out to be a failure. What if the objectives Trump stated, they can't have a nuclear weapon, regime change, saving protests or some of the other shit? What if he actually meet those objectives and actually succeed?
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying it's going to be a failure. I'm looking at where it's at right now.
Yeah.
And the reason that we went in there, the regime is still there. They're not going anywhere.
No, it don't look like it.
They're still firing off ballistic missiles. You know, they still have their uranium, even though it's buried deep in the mountains. They're still building drones. And the reasons that we went in there was all based on a lie, just like everything else.
So you don't buy into the notion that they were only weeks away from obtaining a nuclear bomb and they would have used it on us by now.
No, the only people that think that are the ones that either they're stuck on stupid or they have a serious case of head up Trump's ass syndrome.
Well, I can show you a lot of folks that wear the red hat that they actually do believe what Trump says.
And that's that mental condition, head up Trump's ass syndrome, because it was a bunch of BS. Not only did our intel services say it, but also every other intel service around the world that had anything to do with it. Yeah. And now we're stuck. We're in this thing, and how are we going to get out of it?
So what? Let me ask it to you this way, and I agree with you with the intels, including Tulsi Gabbard saying they weren't developing a nuclear bomb. But I guess the question is, why would he? If so many folks are saying that they're not doing this, why would he go ahead and attack them anyway? What is the goal of that?
Because, Tim, he was reading the newspaper clippings. Okay. Because he went into Venezuela and was able to do that with no problem. Yeah. He was bullying some of the other countries around with no problem. So he figured, hey, let's go. We can do it. And listening to
Netanyahu,
Netanyahu, and that conehead over at the Department of Defense that he put in there, and they decided that, well, you know what? Let's go in here and let's attack a country of 90 million people that has never been colonized. They've been conquered, but they've never been colonized, and they do not give up. And this is how stupid it was, Tim. The Ayatollah was stage 4 cancer. He was on his way out the door. The Grim Reaper was at the border getting his credentials checked.
I didn't know he was that sick.
Yeah, he was stage 4, man. He was on the way out. He was on the way out.
Well, see, I thought during the Ford administration, we signed into some kind of agreement that we will not kill heads of state.
We're not supposed to.
Yeah.
But they know how that go.
They don't honor it.
No, we never have, We never have. But, so then you take that, and then you take the fact that he, excuse my French, he fucked the farmers for the third time, the second time, brother.
But I think I think farmers still support Trump. And I see in the comments.
I didn't support him. I didn't say they didn't support him.
Well,
so they're getting exactly what they voted for.
Yeah.
They voted for Trump. He bent them over the first time, but he gave them money. And he bent them over this time, and he gave them money.
But I got to ask, with you being so critical of President Trump, is there more to it? Because in the comments, Don recommends, he says, he says, I'm black. I blame Trump, indicating that's what you're doing. He says, I'm constipated. I blame Trump. In other words, suggested that you're just blaming Trump for every damn thing.
Did I say anything that wasn't true?
Not on my side. I didn't hear anything.
Or did the U.S. government get involved in private companies and buying stakes in those private companies, and then also trying to tell them what to do? Yeah. He bought into Nippon Steel. He bought into Intel. And then the big one, he bought into NVIDIA. And also, if I'm not mistaken, his crypto thing got a lot of money from Kuwait, and then end up giving Kuwait some top of the line chips from NVIDIA. Am I saying anything that happened?
You're not saying anything that I haven't heard. Let me ask it to you this way. If Trump is as financially corrupt as you're illustrating, do you believe he's held accountable for this stuff?
Nope.
Why not?
He's going to say everything he did it under the office of the presidency, and he was doing it for the country, and so therefore he would have immunity.
Crypto for the country?
No. The deals that he made. he's going to say he did it for the country. Okay. Not to mention, he took renewable energies that we had going anymore. DOJ lost 25% of their lawyers. Okay. Not to mention, what else?
How do
what
we
he did with FEMA? I mean, dude, come on, man.
So what do we do?
If I say something not true, please tell me.
No, but I've heard the same things you're saying, but what is making me wonder, once Trump is gone and we replace him, liberal or Democrat, how do we, or do we even try to get back to where we once were? Like, are we going to go on a hiring spree in the federal government, or do we leave things as we are? Maybe Trump has shown us that there's too much redundancy in government, and we don't need all those people. I mean,
It hasn't been that hasn't been, because if you call the IRS, you can't get it's hard to get service. If you go down to Social Security, it's hard to get service because they've laid everybody off. You know, so redundancy. It was 3 million government employees in 1980, and it's 3 million employees when Trump came into office. 1980, the population of the country was 240 million. Now it's 340 million. The government is very complicated. But instead of upgrading the IRS systems, they cut the money. Instead of upgrading Social Security, they off on some other bullshit tangent with Doge. Okay, so I mean, if and then we're not even talking about international. We have pushed away our allies, and as a result of that, our allies are starting. This is the European Union and NATO. They are starting to ramp up their military-industrial complex. So what does that mean? That means that as Germany and France and Sweden and the UK, because they all make weapons, and some of them make some pretty damn good
But when
weapons.
you say allies, how do you respond to my beloved MAGA on the other side of the aisle that often says that they weren't allies, they were living off us? Like Big Boss in the comments says they weren't allies, they were leeches. You know, and that's what Trump says as well, that you guys are just depending on us for help.
Fuck MAGA. Now let me finish what I was saying, because those countries where we have bases at, which extends our military reach, which also purchases a lot of military hardware from our military industrial complex. So when they start making their own and they don't have to buy from the U.S. because they can't depend on the U.S., who's going to be affected by that? The people that work for Raytheon, that work for Boeing, that work for all to make the tanks and the stuff that we sell to the European Union. And not only that, now they become competitors, and they're going to sell to, even Japan is making more of their stuff, even Korea.
So can we So the amount of damage you're trying to indicate that Trump has done with our relationships with our allies, et cetera, can that be repaired? Are you listen? A lot of folks, you know, in terms of our allies, are not big fans of Trump because he said all kinds of horrible shit about everybody from Canada to France. But the question is, once he is gone, can we just repair those relationships and get back to where we were?
We can repair the relationships, but you're talking about something that's going to take a long time. What we will not be able to repair is the loss of business that Boeing and Raytheon and those companies are going to lose, because now they're going to be buying their military weapons systems from each other and selling them to other countries. Not to mention, because we screwed Ukraine, and now instead of being able to get in on that big rebuild that's going to take place, they're going to say pack sand, and they're going to do more business with the European construction companies than they are with the U.S. construction companies.
Yeah, I do believe that. Yeah, I do believe that. I mean, because listen, at the end of the day, I'm assuming a lot of our business competitors know that there's a chance America may get a more friendlier, or to use a stronger term, civilized leader in there after Trump and try to repair those relationships. So if I'm trying to do business with one of Trump's former allies right now, I'm gonna try to get them to sign into some type of long-term contract so that when they do replace Trump with a friendlier person, he can't just come and get this person back. They're involved in a contract with me. So I agree with you. The business is going to be lost for a while.
Tim, the U.S. on the international front is looked at as not being trustworthy.
Yeah.
Hell, even the Iranians don't trust us, bro, because each time we were negotiating with them, we bombed their ass.
Yeah. You know something, the way you make it sound, when I hear you speaking of what Trump is doing, it almost sounds like he's moving in a way that is not designed for the future of America. It's almost like I'm doing everything for the here and now. You know, like what would you do if you only had a day left to live type stuff? I mean, it don't sound like you're doing stuff that is for the future of America. It's like you're living the here and now.
You know what? They seem to think that this illusion that we have the same type of power that we had in the 70s and 80s. And we don't, because the world has developed, the world has matured. And so therefore we don't have that kind of juice like we used to have. And now with what Trump has done, not only, I mean, China building megaports in South America because they're buying so many soybeans and shit from down there. That business is gone.
That business is gone. That's what I'm talking about. If I'm China, yeah. See, if I'm China and I know Brazil was, or a country in South America was dealing with the United States for the last several decades, and Trump came in there and ruined that relationship with tariffs, and now they're calling me to potentially buy soybeans from me, I would give them the deal I could for the longest level contract. I'll give you a really sweet deal, but I need a 30-year commitment, something like that, so that when you replace Trump with somebody, business gone. No matter who you replace it with, business is gone.
And check this out. All those weapons, those high-grade weapons that we're using to shoot down $10,000 drones, it's going to take a couple of years to replenish those. Those are not things that you don't roll them off a freaking Ford assembly line. It takes time to build those weapons and replenish them. That's high-tech stuff.
Somebody making a killing off of that though, because they're gonna
make a killing off of it.
Yes.
They're gonna need to, because we're not gonna be selling stuff to Germany because Germany's starting to build their own shit.
So in other words, our status as a superpower, shall it remain, which is highly likely, but it is going to drop some significant notches. We're not going to be the most powerful country in the world by far. Maybe still a superpower, but we're going to drop some levels.
No, we'll still be the most powerful country in the world. We'll still have we'll still have the most powerful military in the world. We'll still have all of that, but we won't have the same clout. The other countries won't listen to us or follow us like they normally would. Maybe if we got the right leader and need to form a coalition like we did before, we might be able to do that. But as far as the clout that we used to have, no, some of the countries going to tell us to pack sand. They're going to look at us and say, we remember how you treated us when you had the Mango Maniac and we had Trump was president. Yeah. How you pushed our president out the way. How you attacked Georgia Maloney. All this stuff has repercussions. Our State Department has been gutted. We got a freaking real estate guy, 2 real estate guys doing negotiations. What has happened in the last, since 2025, they started negotiating Witkoff and Kush, going between Russia, Iran, or whatever. What has been accomplished? What have we got out of those guys negotiating? We ain't got a damn thing, Tim.
Not yet.
Russia is fucked up. Excuse my French. Russia is fucked up because of what we did the first couple of years of the Ukraine war, when we gave them all those weapons and stuff, and they freaking wiped out the Russian army. They sunk Russian ships in the Black Sea.
the stuff that we damaged, severely damaged the Russian military without putting a boot on the ground.
And all that was under,
a-holes, Ukraine. You got these a-hole MAGA running around here talking about what we doing with Ukraine. We just wiped out the freaking Russian army. That's what we did.
And that was under the Biden administration. I got to move it on, travel man.
Hey, like I said, if I say anything, let me know.
When I hear it, I'll point it out. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good talk. Tap the screen, and I agree with my last caller absolutely that we've lost some relationships. You can only criticize and treat people like shit so much before they leave. Now MAGA's argument on this is good riddance. Good riddance. You were, as Bake Boss in the comments said, they weren't allies, they were leeches anyway. Here's one thing I don't understand though, and I'm talking to my MAGA side in shirt 14. Thank you for the hat and mustache. Some of you folks appreciate that. Help your boy out with the hat and mustache TikTok cap goals, if you will. Thank you, shirt 14. Yeah, I absolutely believe, look, that the MAGA side operates on American supremacy. We're so high up, we don't fucking need anybody. We can do this all by ourselves. And my opinion of that is it's getting us in trouble. But the American dominance thing, which is where the idea that we don't need NATO needs us. That's something you heard from Trump. That's something you hear from the MAGA side of the aisle. Here's what I don't get though. Why is Trump and MAGA so critical of NATO for not paying their fair share for defense and things like that? But they're basically turning a blind eye to Israel, spending real money defending Israel. NATO's not at war, period. In fact, NATO hasn't been at war that we haven't had to defend a NATO country at war, I don't think, in the history of NATO. It's only happened once where NATO was called to jump up, and that was for us after September. But we are spending a ton of money defending Israel. And MAGA's not saying a damn thing about that. NATO is leeching off of us. NATO did not spend the agreed upon 5% for their own defense budget. Some of the countries were spending as little as 2%, but they're not at war. Their defense budget just means you need to be prepared just in case something breaks out. Israel is in a condition where things have broken out. We're defending Israel, spending a fortune on Israel. And MAGA's like, yay, Israel has a right to defend, the right to exist. Yay, let's defend Israel. We're paying 100% for that shit. We're spending gazillions on Israel, and they're over here criticizing NATO. I don't understand. That doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I can get I can get MAGA in the future to come up here and explain that, but it absolutely does not make sense to me because Israel's not even a member of NATO. So why the hell are we spending all that money on Israel when, as one of my viewers pointed out, when September 11th happened, where we were attacked on U.S. soil in New York, and we did invoke, Article 5, where NATO member nations are called to defend one of its own that's been attacked, that being us. NATO responded. Israel did not help us after September 11th. They didn't do shit. They didn't help us out at all. The NATO member nations that Trump is trashing, they actually helped us. Make that make sense. Trump threatened to take Greenland. Greenland is a territory of Denmark, if I'm correct. Denmark had the highest casualty rate per capita of any other country that helped us after September 11th. And here Trump is trashing Denmark and favoring Israel that didn't even help us out at all. And MAGA is on that side. I don't understand that. That part I absolutely do not understand why MAGA favors Israel so much and criticizing NATO when NATO actually has helped us. Somebody help me explain that. Help me understand. In the comments, Adam says they're the ones who did 9/11. That is a really dark conspiracy there. We know Jesus is black because his mother would have had an AB. God. Wait a minute. Let me read that again. This foolish nonsense. We know Jesus is black because his mother would have had an AB. So if Jesus was white, the mom would have terminated the kid. That don't make any sense. I don't know where you're going with that. I'm assuming there's racism in there somewhere, but I don't quite understand it. I think you're getting your racism mixed up there. Tim asked Alexa, how many soldiers did Israel send to fight with us in Iraq and Afghanistan? I believe 0. I don't think they helped us out at all, Tanaj. I don't believe he helped us out at all. No such thing as black on black crime. My man has never been to Harlem or the Bronx. Amateur hour. Who says there's no such thing as black on black crime? There is, what do they call it? Proximity crime everywhere. People generally get into conflict, see opportunities, and commit crimes against people who are in close proximity to them. So you don't generally drive across town or across state lines to commit a crime. You usually fuck with people in your neighborhood, in your zip code. That's where you see opportunities that the crimes normally happen. So white crime, white victims of crime is in there. It's going to be somebody in their proximity. Look, if you live in Boise, Idaho, ain't nobody flying from Seattle to come fuck with you out there. It's going to probably be somebody in Boise that fuck with you. And Boise's mostly white. So there's white on white crime. There's black on black crime. That's what generally happens is crimes are committed by whoever is in close proximity to the victim. Go figure. The evangelicals and Christian nationalists programmed to think Israel must be protected at all costs. That is true, Lisa, that is true. We've played clips of both the late Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz saying that it is biblically prophesied that we must defend Israel. They do believe that the Bible is telling them to do it. This is why you got to get religion out of politics. This is why I'm a strong opponent of religion in politics. Because you got sitting senators talking about we need to defend the nation because God told us to. You absolutely got to get religion out of politics when you got shit like that happening. Some people are just stupid, says King Fan. Well, look, some could argue religion requires that. Religion requires you not ask questions about some things that would generally be viewed as stupid if you weren't saying that God told you to believe this. People living to be 900. Normally, you would think somebody was stupid if they said that. People rising from the dead 3 days later. That sounds normally like something somebody stupid would say. But because you believe it's coming from a religious aspect, it's not viewed as stupid. But, people parting seas with one hand, or bursting into flames, bushes most of that stuff sounds like something somebody stupid would say if it wasn't, involved in religion. So you kind of have to be that way. Religion doesn't work if you start asking questions or start opening up science books. Everybody should go into the middle. Extremism never works. I agree with that, Mr. T2. But unfortunately, the extremists are starting to lead on both sides. Obviously, Trump is promoting a lot of extremism, and now you got some Democrats talking about socialism and going far to the left. So the extremists are starting to win out on both sides. But I do agree with you, middle is the better ground. Don't make America angry or we bring democracy to your country. And Coca-Cola. Yeah, cowboy. Fed Team 40, that is an awesome comment. That is true. Don't make America angry or we bring democracy to it's interesting you said it because we're talking right now about how much Iran is a terrorist country. I'm going to say something that really is unpatriotic. I get it, but I don't think America knows what terrorism is. I mean, how can we threaten to take Greenland that has done nothing to us whatsoever solely because we want it for our interests? Put Cuba in the dark for no reason at all, costing lives and comfort of living for Cubanos. We're double tapping boats at sea claiming they're carrying drugs with no evidence at all. I don't see how we can be talking about terrorism without pointing out that sounds very terroristic. I just think we don't believe what we do is terrorism, but when somebody else does something similar, it is. To me, our actions are that of a terrorist. Terrorizing Greenland for no reason at all, that's terrorism. I'm sure there were people in Greenland that were concerned that we were going to attack their country. That's terrorism. How is that not? How are we not committing acts of terrorism? We're doing the same thing. It got to the point where boats near the coast of Venezuela were afraid to go out and go fishing because they were getting blown up from the air. That's terrorism. You're terrorizing people. That's exactly what we're doing. We're pointing out the Iranians are terrorists. I know it makes me look unpatriotic to suggest America's involved in acts of terrorism, but I'm going to stand my ground and say we are. We're terrorists. Trump is talking about blowing up desalination plants in Iran. That's not a war target. That's not a military target. You're terrorizing people. Innocent folks in Iran that have nothing to do with the war are being frightened that we're going to run out of drinking water from the United States at the hands of the United States. The country that said they were going to come over here and we as liberators. No, they're not. They're not viewing us as liberators, talking about your whole civilization is going to die. That's terrorism. We're just calling it something else. In the comments, Pobo says white people. Tap the screen, get the light showing up. They're buying weapons from South Korea, France, Israel, and other countries. Who's buying weapons from Israel? Let me go back to the box, and we'll make it happen with Kenneth Pearson. Good evening, Kenneth. Happy boy with the head mustache, TikTok cap goes, folks, if you will. Don't know if it brought up Kenneth. If not, we'll move on to another guest. We're trying to bring up Kenneth, and it didn't go. We'll go with Randy. Good evening, Randy. Welcome to the program.
What's going on, Tim?
Not much at all. What am I getting wrong? What brings you up to the show today?
Just wanted to, number one, say that guy that you keep putting up there that sounds like Gangster Granny, that's just a male. I don't know about him.
Who was
He's
that?
something else, but
I'm trying to think who was that.
The guy that was up there before me, he's always on your line.
Oh, Travelman? How does he sound like Gangster Grandma?
He can sleep at night knowing that he lives in a country that's free. But he hates America.
Let me just say this. Maybe you can clear this up for me. I'm asking you and many of my other beloved that may be watching. When you guys say somebody hates America, what are you using to come to that conclusion? What does a person have to do, say, or how do they have to behave to lead you to believe they hate America?
Well, I mean, number one is that Iran is claiming that the Strait of Hormuz is theirs. It belongs to them. That's international water. It doesn't belong to anybody. It's international water.
Didn't we do the same thing when we were blowing up boats on the coast of Venezuela, which is hundreds of miles from anywhere in the U.S.? We were saying that's in our backyard. Weren't we just doing something like that not long ago?
Well, thank God they were doing it, because they took my son's life with that F drug.
Yeah, that's not our waterway. I get what you're saying. Thank God they stopped that drug. But what I'm saying is we're controlling waterways that's not our own. So what's the difference between what we're doing and what Iran is doing, other than you're just glad we're doing it?
Well, Iran is saying that the Strait of Hormuz belongs to them, and anybody that wants to run their through there has to pay them a toll. That doesn't belong to them. It's international water.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If we can seize the oil cargo ship going from Venezuela to Cuba, that doesn't belong to us. Didn't we just do something similar?
We did seize an oil cargo ship.
It doesn't belong to us, as you said.
But it was a different situation. I mean, if Iran, well, because of all the crooked crap, I mean, we can't condone smuggling of drugs, and we can't condone that. We can't let.
Yeah, but are we condoning theft? I mean, we snatched a boat, a cargo vessel carrying precious energy resources to Cuba coming from Venezuela. We took that. Are we condoning theft?
Well, I mean, look at the people of Venezuela, what they're saying. I mean, they're happy. They're so ecstatic that we took Maduro out of that country.
What does that get to do?
It has everything to do.
And by the
with
way,
it.
that happened after Maduro was gone. We took that after Maduro wasn't even in power when we took that.
It's like a payback for all the money that we had to spend to go over there and clean up that country.
So we just made Cuba suffer because we wanted payback for what we did in Venezuela. We just made a whole country go in the dark because we wanted payback for what we did in Venezuela.
Well, I mean, you know, here we go again. You're talking about a communist-run country, Cuba, and we're looking at right now. We're staring.
What does that got to do with them receiving energy? Are you saying communists don't deserve energy?
Well, I mean, if they're a communist country, which their government ran, completely government ran.
What does that got to do with us? If they're people,
it has everything to do with us.
Tell me, what about them being? Why do they not deserve to have lights and refrigeration and energy in their country? If they're communists, so they should be in the dark?
If they're look at Russia. Russia is a communist country.
Okay.
They don't have any problems getting whatever they want because they're self-sufficient. They do whatever they want, however they want. We
stole energy. Let me get you to clear this up. We stole energy that was en route to Cuba. Why did that happen? You believe that there's somehow a justification of putting in the dark and having these people have no refrigeration, no air conditioning, no ability to use electricity in hospitals or anything. What is your justification for America doing that to them? Because they're communists?
Well, no, you're hoping that the people rise up and say, "Hey, we don't want you. We don't want the people that are running Cuba in this country anymore. We want them out." And then America can go over there and try to liberate that country and free the people, just like Venezuela. The same thing, just like Iran.
So what you're saying is our goal was to inspire the people of Cuba to rise up against that government there. We're going to make them really, really suffer, and hopefully that'll make them rise up and fight against their own government.
Well, absolutely. I mean, there's nobody rising up against China. There's nobody rising up against
That's not our
Russia.
place. That's not our place to make innocent. Look, even if their government is ran by crappy officials, it's not our place to interfere in how their country is ran. Make the people go through unnecessary suffering in hopes that they'll fight on behalf. What you're trying to do is inspire us for in Cuba. And you're trying to make the people suffer until they give you what you want. You don't see that as bad?
No, what you're trying to do is keep people from fleeing Cuba on boats to float over to Florida so they can come in as illegal aliens to get out of Cuba. That's what we're trying to do.
But what do you think?
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, but what if they do what you're saying, which is we're going to put them in the dark, and that only inspire them to step up and fight against Castro and their government. With a now ongoing civil conflict, because the Castros are going to be probably killing citizens, and citizens are going to be shooting at the government, you're going to have more people fleeing that island trying to find refuge other places. So I don't see why you think. What they're going to all just stay there and deal with it?
The U.S. will step in before all that happens.
Why don't they just step in?
You don't know what he's talking about, Tim.
Oh my God! You brought Granny back.
Tell me how I hate America.
Man, I listen to you. You body slam America. You body slam Trump. You body slam everything.
Did I say anything that wasn't true?
Honestly,
no.
When you're up there, I listen. I like Tim. Been friends with him for a long time, but I just don't listen to anything you say because
if you go sit up there and tell me I hate America, tell me what I said that wasn't true.
I didn't listen to you, dude, so I can't
tell somebody who did 35 years of their life to this country
that they hate America. Are you sitting in an air conditioner right now? Are you free? You draw Social Security? Dude, I rode aircraft carriers. I served in the Marine Corps. You damn right I am. Well, other people don't. Because you're in America, you have that freedom. Because I served and I did 20 years, and then I traveled around the world working for CBP. So, yes. So don't tell me no BS about I hate America. I went out there and sacrificed for America, dude. Oh, shit. And now, once again, what did I say that wasn't true? I did not just backing away from us. We invaded Iran. How are we going to get out of there? We're not going to put troops on the ground, because if you do, you need to crank up the body bag manufacturers, because there's going to be a lot of troops coming back. So what was the plan for Iran? Since you know so much about it, what was the plan? You know what the plan is for Iran. You're not stupid. What is it? Tell me.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I didn't hack Cash App, the Handsome Liberal. That's one way to support where it all comes to me. The Handsome Liberal on Cash App. You can do that if you really want to support. Thank you. Go ahead, gentlemen.
So what's the plan for Iran? You know we're going to have to put troops on the ground, at least on Kamal Island. We're going to have to go in there and seize all that.
Karg Island?
You mean Karg Island? Yeah, whatever it's called. I'm sorry.
Hey, Kamala got her own island now.
So you do know that they're going to be waiting, don't you? You know that, right?
Yeah, that's
say that again. I'm sorry. How you plan on putting them on there? Well, I mean, surely you know that. I mean, no, tell me. Now. Tell me, because you the man. You say boots got to go on the ground. You're a military guy. Tell me how they going to put boots on the ground in Iran. They're going to fly them in and let them loose. They're going to fly them in, but they're going to parachute in? They going 81st Airborne?
That shit going to be booby-trapped as hell. Trump has talked about taking Karg Island so many times at this point. Yeah. That shit is booby-trapped as hell by now.
Yeah. There's a reason that the Pentagon has been gaming Iran since 1979. And there's a reason we haven't went in there, especially with boots on the ground. They fought now, dude, since you know everything, you know that they fought a war with Iraq, I think for 8 years, and they did not give up. Okay? They did not give up. Now, put boots on the ground, see what happens. We're going to take them, of course, but we're going to have a whole boatload of casualties.
Do you favor boots on the ground, Randy? Do you want boots on the ground?
Absolutely.
You do?
Absolutely. He's a chicken hawk. He's a chicken hawk.
What a chicken hawk? Explain what
chicken hawk was somebody who's always talking about war, and they haven't served themselves, or they're not going to send their family members to serve.
Wow.
That's the chicken hawk.
Now, Randy, in regards to the hate America comment, I do have to ask this in regards to Travelman rightfully pointing out that he's put 35 years in for this nation. How do you make that? If a person has served this country, basically probably at least most of his adult life, how do you make that say? How do you come away saying they're hating America while they're also serving the country at the same time? I mean, because he's in harm's way and everything on behalf of the country. Can you do that and hate the country simultaneously?
Well, I served in the military in the time when we had a bunch of pussies in there.
35 years straight? It was pussies in there that whole time?
Dude, do you know anything about the Marine Corps? I mean, I know more about the Army. Dude, I went in the Marine Corps in 1976. Oh, wow. That's when they were still kicking ass. Okay? They can't touch them now. They put psychological and physical ass whippings on you in boot camp in Marine Corps.
Randy, I got to say, how is what you're saying not disrespectful to the military? If you can see Colin Kaepernick taking a knee during the anthem is disrespecting the military, how can you say something like that to a veteran that did more than enough years to retire? Damn near 2 careers back to back, because you only do 20 years. He damn near did 2 fucking careers back. How can you say something like that and it not be categorized as disrespecting the military? Randy, what's your take on that?
Well, I'm sorry. said, I don't listen to him because he sounds like gangster granny to me. And so when I hear him mic up, I just mute my phone until he's done. And then I go back on when he's finished. And thank you.
Anybody that knows when I come up on here, tell me when I say something that is not true.
Well, I'll ask you because I don't know. What do you think about Trump? There you go.
What do I think about Trump? I think Trump is a to the United States. I think by the time Trump finishes up, it's going to take us years and years and years to recover from what he's done. That's what I think. And that's being proven.
And in what ways is it going to have to recover?
Number one, have been damaged on the international front. You guys like to talk about isolationism like we don't need anybody. Yes, we do. There's a reason we have bases in Germany. There's a reason we have bases in Japan, Korea, and reopening another base in the Philippines, down in Guam, and Diego Garcia. There's a reason for that stuff. Because it extends our reach militarily. Our planes and and the troops that we have stationed over there. And there's a reason that that NATO and European countries buy their weapon systems from the US, which they are starting to not do now because of what he has done, pushing them away, alienating them. And now I think it's down to by 2030, the European Union wants to have 55% of their weapon systems purchased from European countries, not the US. That hurts our military industrial complex.
Randy?
You want me to go on? You want some more?
That's the first educated thing I've heard you say.
You want more?
He was saying this 5 minutes ago, Randy. You were on mute. He said nothing different than he just said. He said the same shit 5 minutes ago.
We lost 25% of the lawyers have left DOJ.
He just said that. That's what he just literally said that exact same quote 5 minutes ago.
A brain drain. There's been a brain drain at FEMA. You know how I know? Because I live in the DC metro area and I have friends, retired military, that hold high positions, GS-15s and SESs, at these different organizations. And I know because we talk.
All right. 2 minutes. I got to move it on, but 2 minutes of time. Randy. Go ahead.
Thank you. Go ahead, Tim. Thank you.
No, I'll just say I'll give you guys 2 more minutes. I do got to move it on for time. I'll give you a few more minutes, Randy, because he did want to talk to you, but
I'm done.
All right, Travelman, thank you for clearing up what we kind of already knew. Randy, did Randy drop? Okay, well, Randy dropped too. I wanted to talk to Randy for a little bit, but I see in the comments Mo Better said checkmate. I'm going to say what I wanted to get clarity on is the Democrats hate America stuff. I'm still baffled as to why the right believes that. I don't know. To me, it sounds like a mindset of if you don't think like we do, you hate your country. Because obviously, my last guest, Travelman being my last guest, obviously he's not the only Democrat that served this nation. People are in the ground. People are literally dead that died serving this nation, and they were Democrats. How do you translate they hated the country just because they voted blue? There are plenty of Democrats have died on behalf of this country. So I don't know where the notion that all Democrats hate America or where that's coming from. That doesn't make any sense. I see in the comments, Travelman, you said you're not a Democrat. Fair enough. But there are a lot of Democrats in the military. And there are plenty of them in Arlington. A lot of them have died fighting on behalf of this country. So I don't know why the right has this mindset that Democrats hate America. And not liking Trump has nothing to do with love or hate for America. If you don't like that guy, you don't like that guy. Just like if you don't like Obama or you didn't like Biden, that doesn't mean you hated America. That means you didn't like that dude. The idea that we're going to try to suggest that you got to like Trump or you hate America, that's not sounding very fascist at all, is it? Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 90,000. We'll get to the comments. And I see Denkel says Venezuela had to borrow from the MF for earthquakes because we control their energy. That's terrible. Look, I believe that because Trump leads by basically bullying. You know, he's known for the art of the deal, but that's not kind of how he leads. What Trump basically, the way Trump operates is you do what I say or I'll kill you. The point I'm trying to make is I don't believe the woman that heads Venezuela is really heading Venezuela at all. If the Maduro administration was corrupt, she wouldn't be there. She was basically his vice president. But yet she's in control of the country. She's basically, in my opinion, she's a traitor to the Venezuelan people. She is there because President Trump told her, I'm going to put you in place and you're going to do what I say. As Denkel is saying that Venezuela has some serious earthquakes, aftershocks and all of that. What, a week or two ago, a few weeks ago, a lot of deaths, all of that. And what he is saying is Venezuela had to borrow money because we control their energy resources. You know, Venezuela is energy rich. They could be selling and making a killing off of their oil. We control that. You hear Trump occasionally bragging about it. You do hear Trump bragging about it. So, yeah, I don't. Look, Trump basically got rid of Maduro and told the current leader of Venezuela, you can his place and do what we ask, or you can go with him and be incarcerated. And she took the obvious choice. But I don't believe that she is really in control of Venezuela. I do believe we have a lot of control of what's going on down there. I think that it'll come out later on that we probably are in Venezuela. You heard what Randy, my other caller, just said. Well, they owe us. They owe us. So we're just going to claim some of their resources. They owe us. So we're just snatching shit from them. Countries that are significantly poorer than America, we're going to claim. This is what Trump was trying to do to the Ukraine. After Biden helped the Ukraine keep the Russians at bay, when Trump became president, he didn't want to give Ukraine shit. He actually wanted to collect on what Biden had done for him. So Trump is going to these poorer nations and demanding payment. I mean, that's what the tariffs and all of this stuff is about. Trump is actually going to all of these countries and demanding payment from them. So, and of course, he got rid of the assistance going to USAID and everything. So we're coming across as probably one of the most selfish nations on the planet at this point. We're one of the wealthiest nations on earth. We're no longer helping poor people via USAID or any of that stuff. We're demanding payment back from significantly poorer nations like Venezuela and all of that stuff. And thank you for the head mustache alter ego. And we're deporting people who came here from poor nations to nations that are even poorer. We're deporting Hispanics from the wealthiest nation on earth to places like Africa and shit like that. We just come across as being incredibly selfish. We're not doing shit for anybody anymore. Now, I will say this. There could be a silver lining in this if we were cutting out money going to USAID, cutting out taking in immigrants that may be on the door of the taxpayer dime, cutting out helping out nations like Ukraine and all these other nations and costing us money. There could be a silver lining in this if we stopped doing all this and spending money overseas and it started coming to Americans. But that's not happening. The Americans are not doing well either. Nobody's doing well except a few people. Nobody's doing well. Nobody's bragging of how significantly wealthier they're getting under the Trump administration. Even the Americans are not doing it, despite the fact that we're bragging and we're saving money at every turn. We saved billions of dollars with Doge. Billions of dollars no longer going to USAID. Billions of dollars no longer helping the Ukrainians. Billions of dollars we're taking from the Venezuelans and controlling their oil and all of that stuff. Yet the American people ain't seeing none of this. Billions of dollars being saved by kicking out illegal immigrants or hurting our job markets or going on welfare, whatever statement you want to put in there. But the American people ain't seeing none of this stuff. And there's no sign that they ever will. So there goes your silver lining. In the comments, Tim asked Alexa, does Venezuela support Who? Does Venezuela, is that, or do Venezuela export fentanyl? I've looked that up before, Tinaj. They're way down on the list in regards to Trump blowing drug boats, saying that is part of the ethanol trade. They're way down on the list. I mean, if you want me to ask, I'll ask, but I've done that before, and it never was about the drug trade to get into Venezuela. What Trump is doing, and I'll give him credit for doing this because it appears to be working, is he is giving sympathetic tunes that tugs at people's heartstrings as for reasons for why he's doing stuff. And then people get behind it because of what he's saying when that really has nothing to do with it. Like the drug trade was the reason we needed to stop Venezuela. The Iranians, in addition to potentially developing a nuclear weapon, they were also killing their own protesters. And that's something people could get behind. Just like people could get behind, even immigrants could get behind kicking out immigrants that are here as rapists and murderers and committing all kinds of major felonies. He's giving you reasons to do stuff that sound just when that has nothing to do with the actual reason. Trump's immigration has nothing to do with rapists and murderers. Absolutely nothing to do with that at all. You can be here in this country for 30 years and have never committed any other crime other than paperwork, and you're just as good to go as a rapist or murderer. So it has nothing to do with rapists and murderers. Obviously, the ethanol crisis that is down in Venezuela. Okay, so you blow up about a dozen boats, and all of a sudden the fentanyl crisis has been solved. Obviously, that had nothing to do with it. That had nothing to do with that whatsoever. It was to get access to their oil revenue. I personally believe that's part of the goal with Iran. I don't believe it. I don't believe that the sole goal is to prevent them from getting a nuclear bomb. Some of that is revenge and probably wealth in that area. If it takes Carg Island, benefit personally proceeds of Carg Island. Same thing. I've had a guy on the show that lives in Greenland. We got a guest that comes in every now and then from Greenland. They already know what Trump is trying to do. It has nothing to do with defending the United States from weapons flying over the polar ice caps. It's to get access to rare earth minerals in Greenland. All this shit. It really heist. It's like some nice. He asked you, could he use the restroom? You showed him where the restroom is. And, later in the day, you can't find the guy. And you notice registers and shit are open and you forgot to close the safe and you look, oh, this is a fucking heist. That's what this guy wasn't here to use it. It's a heist. That's what it looks like, if you ask me. Anyway, looking in the comments, he's giving these reasons. And the end result is he's making a ton of money from this stuff. It's a heist. That's what it is. People just taking time to realize it. In the comments, the real shipment of drugs, whatever the case may be, it ain't coming from Venezuela. Venezuela's not the biggest producer. I don't even think Venezuela's in the top 5 in terms of producers of fentanyl, cocaine, heroin, any of the hard drugs. You've seen a ton of fucking drug movies, from Scarface to more modern movies, King of New York, all this bullshit. Have you ever heard them talking about Venezuela? Have you ever heard them at all talking Peru, Colombia, fucking Mexico? Have you ever heard any drug movie talking about Venezuela? I don't even think it's in the top 5. Nobody talks about fucking Venezuela. I'm about to go down to Venezuela and re-up. Ain't nobody saying that shit. I got half of Caracas in the back seat. Nobody's ever said that. Shit ain't coming from Venezuela. Anyway, looking in the comments, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 110. We'll go back to the box. Venezuela, my ass. Arnita Searles, good evening. Welcome to the program. Juneteenth is a real holiday. Where did that come from, Angela? He can't do anything unless the people of the United States put him in power. Oh, he's in power. Venezuela used to be a wealthy country before Chavez. True. Just like Cuba used to do much better before the Castros. But as I told my last guess, it ain't America's job to go in these countries and tell them we don't like communism or we don't like your government. Like what my last guest was indicating, we put Cuba in the dark to try to incentivize their people to rise up. Where have we ever been successful doing that? Didn't we try to incentivize the Iraqis to rise up against Saddam, only to leave them under the George H.W. Bush presidency? George H.W. told them to rise up against Saddam. They actually took his advice and started doing it. And George H.W. pulled us out, and Saddam slaughtered heaps of them, which is why his son, George W., once the weapons of mass destruction shit turned out to be bullshit, started saying, well, he's killing his own people. Yeah, he's killing the people you convinced to rise up against him. That's what Trump tried to use in Iran. They'll see us as liberators. Now here's somebody talking about we'll incentivize the Cubans to rise up against their own people as well. What are we doing? Just going around the world and basically trying to stoke civil wars in these countries? Because that's what rising up against your government is. That's a civil war. It's cool. Is that what we trying to promote in these different countries? Anyway, looking at the comments real quick here. I don't know. Tonight I thought I saw your super chat. Did I miss something? Cake all over again. All I'm hearing is that we're trying to go around the country, around the planet rather, telling folks how their country should be ran and doing horrible shit to make it happen when it's only in our best interest. Yep, we used to be more covert about it. True. Tanaj, I don't see, what are you talking about? And I don't want to miss it. Obama was voted in because he wanted a color president, not because he was the best fit for president. Who did Obama run against? McCain and Romney? I don't think McCain or Romney would have been significantly better than Obama. I thought Obama did a decent job. I do believe that there are plenty of people that voted for Obama because he was black, but you're saying they only voted for him because he was black and not because he was the best president. You guys don't even like the two adversaries of Obama now. The MAGA side of the aisle does not like the McCains or the Romneys anymore. So you don't like McCain, you don't like Romney, and you don't like Obama. You guys don't like anybody. I sent a super chat. Tim Myers was for how much I responded to that. Trump lied about Venezuela. Well, I think that's obvious. Alexa, how much fentanyl does Venezuela export?
Venezuela isn't a measurable source of fentanyl exports. U.S. reports indicate Mexico supplies the bulk of illicit fentanyl, and Venezuela plays no significant role in that trade.
Alexa, stop. They lied to you. Wasn't that the song that says your country was ran by pedophiles? They ordered you to die. They lied to you. Yeah, that's what he said. You know, obviously Trump did promote Venezuela as a fentanyl dealer. Americans do the same selves. What does that say? And they only have themselves to blame. I agree with that. Trump wanted to make the Gaza a resort. Not two, but let me go back to the box. We'll go to East Side. Help me walk the hat, mustache, TikTok cap goals, if you will. Not even measurable, huh? That's crazy that Alexa says. I didn't know it was that low. East Side, good evening.
What's happening?
Not much at all. Not much. You see the question on the screen. What is the goal of the Trump administration? Because when you look at what he campaigned on versus what he is doing, some of the stuff, obviously a lot of his campaign promises have not been met. Some of them can't be met, like ending wars in 24 hours or lowering energy prices in 12 months. That time frame is over, can't be met. And then there's some of his campaign promises where he's taking a 180-degree stance for what he's talked about all kinds of new wars. So what is the actual goal of the Trump administration?
To, at all costs, no matter what life may be lost, as much money as he can.
So it is. So is that what I said? It's a heist.
Yes.
Shit.
Yes. If you're asking what his goal is, he doesn't care at what cost. He has immunity, except his kids. The Supreme Court said, we're not, there's no guarantee that about that pardon you try to give your kids with that. I think they had something to say about that, and said, I don't think that's going to work. So, but as far as we can tell, I don't think there's nothing he won't do as long as he gets that money. He's going to
fucking what? All of his kids, everybody that is in the Trump family tree that came from him, meaning his kids. Well, does he have grandkids?
No.
Right. Well, no, I think Don Jr. one of them had. But the point I'm making is everybody in his family tree is set for life. What the hell is he for? Even kids Trump offspring that are not born yet are already set for life. What else is he trying to get money for?
Well, he's just greedy at this point.
He's
assimilated. At this point has assimilated to white supremacy. I think he's really pretty much got on board with that type of notion. And he said, look, you know what? What else is it for? Why not? They did a little bit. I'm going to do the most. Because we see that all the presidents got some money. We know that.
Yeah, but I was told President Trump, one of the benefits of electing President Trump is, in addition to the fact that he's not taking a salary, is he came with his own money because he's a successful businessman. That way we know he cannot be bought. That is what I heard overwhelmingly from MAGA throughout his first term, throughout him running again. The guy's not taking a salary, so we know he can't be bought.
Right. He can't be bought with that salary that they're offering him. That money, yes, you are absolutely correct. However, once you start talking about billions, I think, yes, he can be bought. He can definitely be bought once he starts looking at the field and saying, wait a minute, if I say this and then do this, they're not going to be able to technically say I've insider trading. All I did was say, today's a good day to buy.
Here's what's crazy, though. You are possibly damaging your legacy, like you mentioned, insider trading and stuff like that. Even if they give you immunity, people are still going to know what you did. You're damaging your legacy for money you can't do shit with. I mean, you got more money than you can spend at this point. So any additional money you get is just going to become something for your heirs. You're not going to spend it. So you're risking your legacy, your image, and all that shit, which will go in the history books for money that it might as well be sand on the beach at this point.
Well, you can't take it with you, but you can get as much as you can.
Yeah, but you can't do nothing with it.
It don't matter. At least my kids, selfishness.
And we're not even talking about his kids. Like I said, even his grandkids, which he does have grandkids. Exactly. But even your grandkids are already set for life. All of your grandkids are already in line to be billionaires. So, like, what the fuck?
I think what we're not realizing is, what he comes from and what these type of people, historically, what we've seen and what we know, there is no limit. They're not the people that say, oh, okay, I've got enough. It's just not. When have we seen? Who's the person that said there's enough? The world is. Who's that guy? Who's the guy that said who had it all? Let's see.
I'll tell you something.
Elon?
No, I'll tell you something. I think it's either Jeff Bezos' wife or Bill Gates' wife, or it might even be both of them. Both of them are operating like that. We're going to give all our money away, and they're giving tons of money away. Everybody, there are some people that are not like that. Not many, as you rightfully point out, but there's a few that are like, look, my money could go to actually help people out as opposed to leaving it all behind for one or two people to get it.
Yeah, and I would say when you come to the South, not all the white people are racist, but yeah, majority are. So that's the math. That's the math you're laughing.
You think majority of the people living in the South that are white are racist? Majority of them?
Well, I would say once you get once you get into the rural areas of the South, maybe they're not racist, but they like the fact that they don't have to see a lot of black people every day.
Well,
that's me living in Kentucky. So I'm just
Well, I mean, the thing about it, I understand the sentiment. I can understand why some of them think that way. It's like where you getting your media from. If your media is showing you nothing but bad behavior from African Americans, and you don't have any African American friends or associates, I can understand why you wouldn't like them. I mean, that's like having a bunch of black kids grow up and all they watch is reruns of Roots. They're not gonna like a lot of white people when they get older. I mean, Fox News is like watching Roots in reverse.
Worse, right?
Yeah.
you call good money.
Yeah.
Look, this is America. And it's sad. You know, it is sad. But I think we're at a point. Like, for instance, I do live in Kentucky, but I live in Lexington. That's a total different, scenario, right? Mm-hmm. However, I don't want to go to Clay County. I don't want to go to London County. I don't want to go, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's certain places, Hazard. I'm not going over there.
Yeah, East, because you're on it. Is that considered East Kentucky? Because I know East is all of the shit you're talking about.
Central Kentucky.
Okay.
Is where I'm at.
East is where it gets worse, is it not?
Yeah. That's the Appalachian Mountains. Yeah.
Yeah. That's J.D. Vance territory, ain't it? Ain't that J.D. Vance territory? Didn't he grow up in in the Appalachians? Yeah.
They had a little controversy about this here. Technically, he didn't. I don't know, man. There's something going back. They had a little said he's faking the funk somehow. It's they Appalachian beef. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But it was something on the news where they were saying they don't like the fact of what he put in that book that he wrote, talking about he didn't grow up like that.
But do they really look? But I mean, listen. I used to be an over-the-road driver, and I was an expediter in a Sprinter van. So I've taken loads. All 48 states I've been to, and I've been in rural areas. I've been in Eastern Kentucky, all of this shit. They don't really do anything. I mean, if you go to these areas, you may get a side eye, but they don't really treat you like shit, do they?
No, yeah. No, I'm gonna say that. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Like I said, we don't want to live there. We don't want to be in that area. You know what I'm saying? Because for one, they shit gets flooded.
Yeah.
Their integration. What's it called? The system for your water. Oh, damn it.
I know what you're trying to say.
Allegration system it sucks. Yeah, there's a lot of flooding that always go. They was on the news the other day, trying to get they gathered and Andy Bashir. He came down there and they trying to get the government to give some more money. The government gave them money. They need more money because they got hit. It was a storm. It was like a tornado. But then here they came a little bit later. Boom, a flood right behind that. Yeah. So they, you know what I'm saying, getting hit back to back. It's just always like that.
But I'll tell you something. Because I was an over the road driver. I used to talk to.
Irrigation.
Yeah, I see them. I see them corrected it in the comments. What I was going to say, when I was an over-the-road driver, even in a Sprinter van, I used to talk to a lot of the truckers as well. We had little Zello apps where we would communicate with each other, and most of the trucking industry that I talked to were white guys that were MAGA guys, and they would say the same shit in reverse. They was just like us African Americans don't want to go to these backwood towns. They would say the same thing when they go to an unloaded in an all-black facility. They would complain that they were getting they would make them wait longer to get unloaded, or treat them like shit. They felt the same way from black people.
I don't see how when you come around, we got a little bit of everything around here. So I really don't see how that could even happen. You know what I'm saying? But that's why we prefer to keep it the way it is, because it's, we really don't care, and we don't even feel like, I don't see where they would get that from, because we see white people.
If you go in, this is what I'm talking about. Let's say, for instance, like some of the auto plants, like in Chicago, we got the Ford, the Ford auto plant up there. It's basically everybody in there is damn near black. So when you go around to the docks or whatever to get unloaded, something like that, they would say that the girl who you give your bill of lading to or whatever it's called, that, she's sitting there smacking gum and taking her time, sit there, or they take a I mean, they would say that they felt like that the workers were lazy or they didn't. I mean, they had negative connotations of black people, just like a lot of black drivers when they go to all white areas have negative connotations of whites that are servicing them too. They were saying the same stuff.
I do delivery. I do delivery, like, I think they may hear the stories. They hear some, so they figure why not say it back? Why not? I really can't call it.
Yeah, it could be that too.
Yeah, they lie a lot. I've come to the conclusion that lying is just not. It's something that is very well in their realm of possibilities. They have no problem with just making up a story for the hell of it, just because it will help fit their narrative. Because for the most part, man, like I said, I could show you, man. My son, he's got a bunch of white friends. All type, they just a bunch of it's a damn rainbow pot of browns and shades of grays, and you know what I mean. Right. Everybody here pretty much kicks it. You know what I'm saying? African, Mexican.
Is Lexington is Lexington, Kentucky? Is that really diverse? That area?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's pretty diverse. Okay. Yeah, we got like we got the right now on my street. You got, let's see, for every house is like black, white, black, black. Mexican, white, black. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what
that's
this
very diverse. Yeah, that's very diverse.
Yeah, that's not including the we got the Fahala right around the corner, the Mediterranean little over here in our shopping center. They where they from? I'm sorry. They from Pakistan, Palestine. Okay. Yeah, they from Palestine.
That's more diverse than most areas. I mean, that's real, because normally blacks live around blacks, whites live around whites, Pakistanis live around Pakistanis, Hispanics live around Hispanics. They normally don't. You're really in a diverse area.
Yeah. I come out the neighborhood, I see all kinds of people. Yeah.
Billy Wop says, "Don't tell Trump that shit."
Right. Yeah, because right now I think we're fooling them because we got a Republican mayor. We got a Republican mayor, a Democratic governor, you know what I'm saying? And so I think we're fooling him, acting like, but our old grandma, she's cool, man. We like Mary, what's her name? Well, our mayor, she's good people though. She's really good.
It actually kind of helps right now in the current environment of Trump to have a Republican administration, because he won't come fuck up your town if you got a Republican mayor in that town. Because what he did to Minneapolis is solely because of Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Fry. If Tim Walz was a Republican and Mayor Fry of Minneapolis was a Republican, it don't matter how much Somali Fry was in Minnesota, that would not have happened. That would not have happened.
Yeah. We would, and that's what it boiled. Like you said, that's what it boiled. That's why we like to keep the front up. Like, look, we're Republican. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, no, we don't care, man. We go to all the bars, but I tell you what, though, man, the bigger picture is going to be. I'm just going to say this: within the next 2 weeks, the Houthi. Are you familiar with what the Houthis?
They're talking about shutting down another strait or something like that, right?
They're already doing it. That's
what are we going to pay? $7 a gallon or some shit?
Yeah, pretty much about 8. You say about 8. It's gonna go right now. I think we're at 80. So by the end of this week, we'll probably be right over 100. Come the end of next week, if this war's still going, you'll probably see between 125, 130 a barrel.
I would tell you something. If I'm in charge of Iran. If I'm the Ayatollah's son or whoever the hell's in charge of Iran, even though Trump is hammering them with ordnance every night, we got to stick this shit out, because this is what I'm thinking. If I'm over Iran, I'm telling them our best bet at getting back at Trump is that this election that they're having in November or whatever. If he loses that election, the people on the other side are coming after him. They are more of our allies and can do more damage to him than we can over here. So we need him to go into that election doing as bad as possible. And hopefully the American people will put in that other group of folks, being Democrats, of course, because they're going to try to do things to weaken his power, such as end this war. would end this at the very, because the Democrats, obviously Trump has not gotten permission from Congress. So this war is basically not even legal. And if the Democrats win the House or House and Senate, they're going to stop this. They're going to start controlling what Trump can and can't do, and nobody benefits from that more than the Iranians. My opinion is, by proxy, the Democrats are actually allies with Iran. Because if we end up trying to impeach him or hold him up for investigations or stop his agenda or even, God forbid, go after him criminally or whatever the case may be, the Democrats are going to try to do more damage to Trump than anything the Iranians are capable of doing right now.
I want to say this. I'll say this. Here's the big thing. The only people Trump right now is MAGA. That's it. Nobody else in the world believes what he. I think what he thought was, if this continues on, that the rest of the world was eventually going to have to attack Iran. I think Iran even thought that, we don't want to drag this out too far, because we don't want the rest of the world, being the European nations, to get involved. The European nations, I have all but said, look, y'all do what y'all do. Yeah. We already know what time. We know we ready to suffer.
Yeah, why the hell you going? Why the hell we gonna come and rescue, or not rescue, but why the hell we gonna participate in your war? You don't tariff the shit out of us. You don't call us all leeches and shit. Don't say all kinds of negative stuff. You're threatening to take Greenland and fuck us. Why the hell you expect us to come rushing and help you?
Exactly. The world wants to expose what's going on. They really do. Like the satellite, like he told from where the bases have been getting bombed over in Qatar and what's that other star that starts with a B and Saudi Arabia.
Bahrain.
Yeah, he told the company, what was that company called? They have the images, but anyway, they told them that they couldn't show the images. But China and the other Spain, they've been the guy, what I'm talking about, Midas Touch. He's been using the images from their satellites. They putting it out there.
And that's what I've been saying since the beginning of the live. With them saying only 18 have died so far, I don't believe the information coming from the Trump administration. They're trying to portray this as an American dominance, and they're trying to sweeten it up and make it sound like we're just kicking ass. I don't believe that you can depend on them to tell you the truth if we suffer casualties.
No, when he said, his words were, their military is depleted. They have no jets. They have no boats. Their Navy would just, remember, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
At the bottom of the ocean.
Bottom of the ocean, they're gone. That Navy's gone. Okay, guess what? Greece tried to send a boat today. So yesterday, the day before, Greece tried to send a boat through there. Boom! Out of here! Get your ass back over. Where do you think you going? With American escort.
They not. The Trump administration. I got to move it on, but the Trump administration is not being honest. So I would say anything they tell you, take it with a grain of salt.
And then, oh boy, Randy, boots on the ground. We're gonna break Vietnam. What was Vietnam? 68,000. Was what was unalive.
Oh, you mean how many we lost? Yeah, we lost a lot of people in Vietnam with boots on the ground, as you rightfully point out.
Yeah, if we go into we're gonna break that. We're gonna double that number.
Yeah, Carg Island. Carg Island.
Vietnam was.
Go ahead. Last
word. I was
word.
just saying, whatever Vietnam was, we're gonna double that. That's all I know. I don't know the exact number, but whatever it was, if we go in there, because that's what they wait. Do you remember in February? Well, no, March. Thing first started, and the people were marching, and they were singing some kind of song. It was like and they basically were saying, "Come on, we waiting for y'all."
Yeah.
When they was telling them they won't bring the troops, we want you to bring.
Well,
the troops.
I can say this: if we end up putting boots on the ground, that war is going to go for years. I mean, because it's just going to require reinforcements to the people that are dead and more equipment. It'll go on for a long time if we do that.
But it's going to happen here too, though. It's going to happen here too, bro.
Let's hope all this don't happen. I got to move it on, but thanks for coming through.
Okay,
appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, and I hope it does not go that far. This is where we need cooler heads to prevail. But listen, Trump is competitive. Trump is a very competitive man, a very competitive leader. So if the Democrats lose in the midterms, God knows how long this may go on, because it ain't Trump's kids. As what was the guy called it, a chicken hawk or something like that? He said, you favor war because you don't have any sweat in the game. Yeah. This is where you need the Democrats to come in. I mean, I think what's going to end up happening if we get Democrats in power. America's just going to take an L. They're not going to get access to the partially enriched material in Iran. You're going to probably get some half-assed deal made that results in the ceasefire, and we're going to have to give Iran some money, plenty of it, for all of it. Because Trump just said today we've bombed Iran to the point where it'll take them 25 years to rebuild. Well, we're going to pay for that rebuilding. I almost feel there's no ceasefire that's going to come without America. I mean, Trump was already giving them $300 billion. That was in the deal. He was already giving them $300 billion. And they clearly decided to keep fighting. So much for they're begging for a ceasefire, huh? Trump said they're begging for a ceasefire. You offered them $300 billion and they decided to keep fighting. So the begging for a ceasefire stuff is obviously a lie. Randy says the Democrats are what's wrong with Iran now. What, Iran has Democrats in it? I don't know. No, to me, I feel confident that if Kamala Harris was president, we would not be at war with Iran. So I don't know where the idea that Democrats are the problem. In fact, I don't think if the folks who ran against Trump in the primary, Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, Vivek Ramaswamy, I don't think any of them would have did this. I don't think any of those conservatives would have went into Iran like this. So it ain't the Democrats that are the problem. I think it's Trump. I think what we're dealing with right now is something unique to President Trump. I don't think any of them would have done that, because I do believe all of the rest of them folks would have listened to the advisors who would have told them why America, despite all the presidents saying that, Iran cannot develop a nuke, because this is what the right is saying. Give Trump credit because all the other presidents only talked about Iran not getting the nuke. Give Trump credit because he actually did something about it. I don't give him credit for that. I believe the other presidents were advised by their commanders or the top brass. The military told them, this is going to be a hell of a skirmish if you do this. And they decided to try diplomacy. Trump is the first to come along and say, fuck it, now we can actually do this. Look at Venezuela. And now he's in a mess. So I don't give Trump credit for doing something all the other presidents didn't do if he's failed at it. I don't look at this and say, yay, I'm glad we've gotten into this. This ain't looking that good. So that's why they didn't do it. They all now Trump is talking about Carg Island. You heard my last guest talking about it. I think Randy mentioned it in the comments. Carg Island is booby trapped. Trump has been talking about fucking with Iran, taking Carg Island, which is a very valuable resource. A lot of the oil and stuff. So they know, everybody knows Trump wants Carg Island. There's no reason, if Trump puts boots on the ground in Carg Island, for them to just there's no reason for them to just not step away from that island and just destroy it with all of the American troops on it. Carg Island is booby trapped. Any soldier that lands on Carg Island, God bless you, you may not be coming home. They know Trump wants Carg Island, so you can assume that island is probably booby trapped. Would not want anything to do with that, but it is President Trump. He controls the purse strings, and he does not have any children or family that's invested in the war. So all he gets is the spoils. He don't get any victims from it. So if he's trying to take Carg Island and he's successful, he makes a killing. If a lot of people get killed, he don't end up crying at all. He's not losing anything. So he only has stuff to gain from taking Carg Island. So he may, I agree with you, Billy Wap. He may not care. He may still do it. So be it. Anyhow, folks, I do got to step away. I appreciate the 112,000 likes. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Follow the program if you're watching us on TikTok. Give us a follow if you're watching on Clapper, Substack, Instagram. And if you happen to be watching on YouTube, give you guys sub. I will see you tomorrow. Take care and have a good night. Gotta go. Gotta step away. That